Welcome, Level Uppers, to the second ever episode of It Only Does PlayStation. This is the Level Up Network's dedicated PlayStation podcast on every second Wednesday of each month. I'm one of your co-hosts, Andrew Midori. I'm alongside the classy douchebag, Mike McLaughlin.
Sorry, I'm taken aback by Greg. I never thought he could.
Would you guys be my friend if I looked like that? Be honest.
No, I don't want to be your friend now.
I don't think so.
I don't think I want to be your friend then either.
I'm just going to skip right to him. We got Greg Verga here, a.k.a. the bisexual Jew.
Woo!
I don't know why that's a thing. And we have Dean Marchese, a.k.a. the Beast from the East.
I
thought you were going to say Batman, but you went with Groot.
Confused by everything.
I feel like it always comes out Groot. I think that's just going to be my line. That's it.
We got several people in the room with us already. Bulldog Brad says, love that opening. We love you, Brad, for loving it. We got Strafe Girl in the room. We got Cunnilinguist, Super Dave, and several more as well. Thank you for joining us, guys. We'll be on for the next hour, 45 minutes, 2 hours, talking PlayStation news, doing our 4 dedicated PlayStation topics, and also going to your fan-submitted questions. We got 4 this week from you guys. You can tweet at us with hashtag IODP if you want to be featured on next month's episode of It Only Does PlayStation. You guys have 4 weeks between each, so you have plenty of time to come up with good questions. So, how's everybody doing tonight?
Really, really good. I'd like to take this moment to award the best chat name to Cunnilinguist 1-4.
Have you not seen him in the chat before?
I've seen him. I've just never formally awarded him.
You don't win any medals, any trophies, and you only get Dean's recognition. So
anyway, how are you guys doing? I'm doing good. You know what? I was doing good, and then I started Uncharted on crushing difficulty, and I was like, "No, how could it be?" And I was like, "Holy shit, man, this is hard."
The first one's really bad. Yeah. Why didn't you do brutal?
Because it's not unlocked.
Oh, you have to be crushing in order to get brutal?
Yep.
Oh, that's just not right. Blue point. Blue point, boo. That's not okay.
But I'm doing it. I'm at like chapter 6, and I kind of want to die. That's what I'm doing.
It's like really difficult, especially when you get to the airplane wreckage part when you discover it for the first time.
That's where I am.
Yeah, that's the worst.
Spoiler alert. Oh, no. Mike is actually pretty far into it now, right, Mike?
Actually, I just got to...
you said you were to the water
part where, I got to the part where... what's his name? Sully almost gets crushed by the where Drake pushed him out from the thing that's fallen down.
Did you notice that?
Oh yes.
The animations in that game are like straight off of Jack and Daxter's face.
You know what's funny is you said that I was like, man, I feel like I've played this game before.
Yeah, it's cool. It's kind of cool.
It happened so many times, and I'm glad that that's where it was because it's been killing me trying to figure. I was like, what game is this that I've seen before? Like it's some
things that like Nate does with his eyebrows and stuff.
Yeah,
like, oh, that was totally like Jack and Daxter.
Right. That's exactly what it was. He did something where he was like. And I'm like, I've seen you, but as a cartoon animal.
Yeah, well, the first game is so much more animated than the other two. It's more cartoony. And then 2 gets a little bit more realistic, 3 more realistic, and now we can obviously see with, what's it called, A Thief's End, that they're going hyper-realistic almost at this point. But yeah.
Right.
All for the better, though.
Yeah, I want it to be done. I want it to be over. I'm not feeling it that much.
What?
I think coming off the first game, you're going to love the second one, especially because you're coming right off of the first game. So you're going to have that experience that everybody else had where they went to the second game and they're like, holy shit, this is so much better than the first one.
I remember even the whole reason I never got into it, me and you had this conversation. I mean, I don't know if you remember, but I remember you and us this conversation, what was it, like 8 years ago?
When you found
it out. Not really. I don't play your game, Greg. Yeah, there we go. No, we had this conversation, but you were asking me like why I never got it and why I never played it, and I heard it didn't do that well, and it only got not that well, but only 7.5s, 8s, stuff like that, which is what I'm giving it myself, as of right now, and I kind of feel so I knew what I was getting into in this, especially since it's aged and everything like that. I just wanted to be done.
Yeah, wait for Among Thieves, then your life will return back.
You like ice cream?
What?
Because you're in for a real treat.
Oh my god! Can we end the show there? Because that was the devil. That was the devil.
How much stock do you put into reviews, Mike? I feel like you put a lot into reviews.
You know what? What it is before I don't anymore. Because a lot of the people that I used to trust, I kind of don't trust them anymore. They either started working for a company. What? No, it's not anything relevant. They either started working for a company I have faith in, stuff like that. So I will lie, I used to follow people, but now I don't follow anybody. I just go for consensus, and then I go off of that if it looks interesting, and then
so a follower, as they say.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, my time is fucking precious, man.
Yeah, I think I try to align myself with the people that I'm most similar to in taste and style, and I think that's what a lot of people try to do.
Let me tell you something about me. I don't give a shit if a game looks good and I like it, and they can give it a 3. I'm like, I'm buying it. I don't care.
Right. Like Green Lantern and kind of liked it. So
true that.
Yeah, that kind of makes you the devil. As for me, what's going on this week? Rock Band doesn't have online play, and it makes me so upset.
There's like contention about that, just because people aren't liking the lack of that in party mode.
Online modes are coming. They're treating it as a platform.
Yeah.
But it's not there now, and I want to play.
I want to play D as my because I can't play the because it physically falls off. So I'm sitting there singing. I've got a microphone stand, and I've been doing guitar and mic, but I need the other 2 members of my band. We made a character for my mom with dreadlocks.
Extra Life
for Wheezy. So that's
Extra Life. What's going on?
Rock Band
Extra Life
4.
2015. Rock Band.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I thought you were saying we had a donation or something like that.
No, that's my quick pitch for our sweet Extra Life.
What about you?
It's a good. Real quick, that's a good tie-in, though. Why don't we go into Extra Life for a minute?
Yeah, that's a good thing to mention right now. Guys, if you don't know, we're getting closer and closer to the big Extra Life 2015 day. It's called Game Day. November 7th, we'll be doing a 24-hour gaming talk show game stream marathon. Like Dean was saying, we're going to be doing some Rock Band, some Just Dance. There's going to be a little bit of Destiny in there, I'm sure, at some point. But if you do want to help out, it is for Children's Miracle Network hospitals throughout the United States. We are playing for Children's Hospital of Philadelphia and already raised $1,395. Unbelievable. Thank you so much to everybody who has donated. If you want to join in on that, keep that ball rolling, go to extralife.org/participant/the Level Up Network. GFN just posted the link for you guys. Just go to there, click on support me, donate whatever you have the means to. It's very easy. It's all tax deductible and goes right to the children. It's pretty clean. So definitely keep that ball rolling, guys. We appreciate it.
It'll be like an avalanche with the snow. Like it's just gonna turn into a ball and then keep on rolling.
I think we should just move on.
There's no snowballs in an avalanche, Greg.
Yeah.
Snowballs, everybody!
Oh my God!
Can we turn Greg's mic down?
Turn Greg's mic down.
Everyone was yelling at me that I was too quiet before.
He's perfect on my end.
I miss it.
Rude. Anyway, Drew, start the show.
Let's start the show. As we were saying, guys, it's 4 PlayStation dedicated topics. I go first this week, so let's get into it.
Is there a segue? Are we waiting for something?
Topic number 1.
There we go.
So, with so many unannounced games coming from Sony, we know, like we've talked about this several times, Dean, me and you especially, that first and second party wise, we still feel like there's a lot unknown when it comes to Sony. So what do we think each is working on first and second party wise? I have a list here of all like the major studios. Yay. Let's start with Naughty Dog, because we know that Uncharted 4.
Oh, I was going to Uncharted 4.
We know that. That's obviously that's the given. We know Uncharted 4 is coming. Do we all think that it's The Last of Us? Is that the other studio right now? Or do we think they're working on nothing? Do we believe them and that they're working on nothing besides Uncharted right now? Mike, why don't you start?
I would say it would be foolish for them. Every confidence that they have another team working on something else. I feel like they've gotten to the point where they have the funds to hire enough to have multiple teams. So even if it wasn't announced, they definitely have 2 teams working. One on Uncharted 4, one's 5. And what they're probably going to do is for when Last of Us when they started The Last of Us, is they took people off of Uncharted 3 and put them at the very end on The Last of Us just to help speed it along. And let you anything. That's what they're doing right now. Yeah, I would say it's going to be the new Last of Us game.
One of the more recent interviews with Neil Druckmann said that after Uncharted 3 and when they spread the team into 2, The Last of Us and Uncharted 3, they didn't like what happened there. They didn't like the rush and not feeling like they could deliver on that November 1st, I think, 2011 date back then. And now since then, they've delayed Uncharted as well. So maybe they are thinking, we can't do this anymore. We're not a 2-team studio. We need to go back to being 1 team. Dean, do you think that's possible?
Yeah, I mean, perhaps, but I think they are a little a little tricky in their wording. I think that the second team is probably working on the Uncharted 4 story DLC that they were talking about.
That's what I was going to say.
That could be it.
I'm thinking of DLC more than an unannounced project, only because The Last of Us, like you said, they were kind of upset with themselves, like with the way they rushed stuff out. And the multiplayer in the beginning, I don't know if you guys dove over the multiplayer at all, but at the beginning of it, the multiplayer was like whacked out of its mind.
Sure, yeah.
The matchmaking was horrific, and like none of the online stuff really worked that well. And it was confusing. I mean, Uncharted 2 and Uncharted 3's multiplayer, as like janky as that was, like it still kind of worked. And then they fixed it, and The Last of Us multiplayer is one of my favorite multiplayers to date. But yeah, I don't see them working another full project, especially because Neil and Bruce, the head of Naughty Dog, are both on Uncharted, so I couldn't see them being some Naughty Dog member on the Last of Us game.
Let's move on to what we have on screen here. We have Polyphony Digital, last with Gran Turismo 6, but that's been many years now. We know that they're working on Gran Turismo 7, but I just want to get a quick estimate from you guys. When do you think we're getting the announcement of 7?
PlayStation experience.
That's a
safe bet.
So you guys all think it's coming this year?
Yeah.
Announcement. I don't think it would come next holiday.
I think it's gonna be announced. I don't think you're gonna see it until 20. I don't know. I kind of feel like 17.
Really? You think so?
Let me ask you this.
There's just little racers that have been going on. I feel like they're gonna kind of wait.
Here's the thing, not on PlayStation, but my thought process was that's probably why. I have a feeling that they're pulling Drive Club and trying to kind of maybe take it away from the spotlight in time for PSX, so people are like, all right, I gotta look forward to this.
Sure, that's possible.
Why would they want to do that with the giant success of Drive Club?
I think they would let everyone let everyone forget about it and not release another racer until 2017.
Greg, you say that jokingly, but Drive Club, when combined with European sales, has already sold over 2 million units.
Yeah, I personally played the game. I really like the game a lot.
Yeah, it actually is kind of a success.
I actually like it quite a bit myself.
A lot of people are down in it. That's why I make the joke about it. But actually playing it and sitting down, the first time I actually witnessed it was when you were with the windshield blades, and I'm looking at the television times ago when I came to New Jersey. I'm like, Drew, what game is this? He's like, this is Drive Club. I'm like, what? I'm like, this looks beautiful.
It is beautiful.
Just
Thank you to the first follow of the night that came from Big Nate Dog. If you do want to follow us, guys, make sure to hit that heart button live from PlayStation, bottom left-hand corner. Your name will pop up and we'll shout you out. And here we go. Here's the other one. I'm curious if, say, for instance, they announced God of War 4 at PlayStation Experience. Do you think it's either one or the other? Is it either Gran Turismo 7 or God of War 4? Or do you think both could maybe even happen at PlayStation Experience?
I think both. PSX is becoming like Sony 3. They're kind of like their Apple event, where like Apple comes to drops a whole bunch and everyone's like, oh, with the exception of this year, we Apple and joy to the world. Like, so that's becoming Sony's new niche. I didn't make them to announce as much stuff as they did last year and the first year.
Yeah.
So for me, I could totally now these studios that we're talking about just for game after game, they're not relying on an E3 or anything like that anymore. They are big enough now to do their own thing, I think.
Yeah. Definitely both. That sucks. I don't see why not.
I don't think
out of work though. Just
right. What I was gonna actually say is I saw before when we were talking to Naughty Dog, at least 2 people I saw in the chat, if not more, were saying they don't want Last of Us 2, and you just said I don't want God of War 4. I hope they don't get how Microsoft is getting, where they rely on their one or two big cash cows. Microsoft relies on Halo and Gears of War. I feel like Sony has the talent and the ability and the fan base to make unique new pieces still thrive. And I hope they don't fall into the same pattern as Microsoft does. I really don't want another God of War.
I think they will, and that's solely because even if they don't even make brand new IPs, but like Microsoft relies on Halo and Gears of War. What else do they have?
Yeah,
right.
So
everything,
God of War,
but
Last of Us, Ratchet and Clank, and then all this stuff died out.
And I get that. No, I get that. They have all these games, great. But Last of Us could be off. This is going to be their last one. Finished story. I'm glad we're really gaining horizons completely different, and that's the most exciting thing. And I think that was our three of us our game show at E3. And I feel like, and it's funny because we're showing off there. All these games were showing off, recreations and continuations of franchises. But the new stuff is really what makes Sony. What makes PlayStation.
Let's go to Guerrilla Games real quick. We got Horizon on screen. We all know that looks absolutely gorgeous. We're really excited for it. But we all know that Guerrilla has 2 teams as well. Killzone Shadowfall was the first team. The other team was working on Horizon and Zero Dawn. Do we think that they go back to Killzone, or do we think that they add another new IP to their roster?
I think cool it on Killzone for a little. I think that's the wise decision. I like.
I disagree. I think they're going to go back to Killzone.
Yeah. I could see it going that way, but I think the smarter would be to give it a break, especially with other first-person shooters that are going to be dominating.
Shadowfall did really well, sales-wise.
Or anything. View-wise, it was only.
Yeah, it did all right.
One of the biggest, one of the best components. Remember Killzone 2?
Sure.
The multiplayer for me was really unique, and for that, the multiplayer in that just felt bland.
I do agree with that. I do agree the multiplayer felt bland.
Do you guys both played? Did everybody play Shadowfall?
Yes.
Yeah.
I only played the multiplayer of it. I didn't do any of the story.
Oh, it was a beautiful.
Because I didn't own the game. I just played it out of it.
Oh, it was
great.
Gorgeous, it was definitely a really good way to show off what the PS4 was going to be.
That's what it felt like, a tech demo almost.
Yeah. But, I mean, I'm thinking the PS tech demo right now.
No, I disagree.
No. We're talking about Uncharted.
Yeah.
No. Take that garbage out of it.
Mike,
you're
gone.
PlayStation.
You're kicked.
Yeah, that's not the same. It's not the same.
How is that not the
not the same type of
while.
Right, it's not the
what
type
they were
of thing.
working on, and that was going to be. What did it launch with the system?
No, Drake's Fortune didn't launch with the system.
No. Killzone Fall. Was it
Killzone did, yes. Shadowfall launched with the system.
Yeah, so that's the there, and then Fortune came out in 2007. I
thought it was a launch time.
No. I remember because they had cover on Game Informer how I first read about Uncharted Drake's Fortune. Elena was a brunette at the time. Like everything was totally different about the game. And then I don't know if they did or just didn't announce a release date, but then I didn't hear anything until in 2007, and then related to that.
I think not Killzone. Resistance wasn't. I think Resistance launched.
That was PS3 launch title, correct?
Yeah.
And Resistance was a great launch title.
I loved.
I wouldn't mind return to that
series.
From Insomniac. Yeah, that would be great to go back to Resistance and do it right.
Problem with Resistance, I think like, we need it.
No, we don't need it.
That's my thing. I'm gonna get at is that I don't think we need to keep going back, and I hope Sony not running these franchises to pull on, because I feel like if they are, then they just don't realize that they have. I'm gonna buy. Guerrilla Games is making something. I agree. Bam, I'm gonna. Naughty Dog. Bam, all the I think most. It's an interesting time for console and gamers in general, just because more people do know ever before. When we were kids, we didn't know what a developer was.
Sure.
But now it's like, Guerrilla Games, I'm going to buy their next game.
Yeah.
Oh, Treyarch, I'm going to buy their,
Greg, you don't want a PlayStation, or you don't want to.
I hate PlayStation.
Greg doesn't want a PlayStation.
Wait, this isn't the Xbox podcast.
You said you don't. Out of word.
No, I did not. Playing Ascension, that was the game I played. And playing that was good. The NXT,
I mean, you know that's happening, right? Whether you want, they're working on it.
I know they are. I know it's going to come out.
I wanted just to see how unbelievably it's going to look graphically. I don't care about anything else at this point. I don't see how amazing it's going to look.
I think it's
I think it's going to be in that realm. Here's the thing. I would be okay if it's a new character. I'm okay if it's the same.
I think it's going to be. I don't think you're going to see Kratos.
See, I don't want that.
Take it out of Greece, put it in like Egyptian mythology.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to see Kratos because I think they've heard what people have to say about him, and
that was my biggest
brute.
Yeah.
Well, why don't we save that talk for a little later on, because Dean's topic could go into some of that kind of stuff. I want to stick with studios and what they're doing right now. We only probably have about 5 minutes left in this segment. What about we'll skip Media Molecule, we'll skip San Diego, who are working on Killstrain. We know that. What about Bend? Bend worked on Uncharted Golden Abyss. And since then, we have no idea what they're working on, but the rumor is that they are creating the first dedicated PlayStation survival horror game.
Yeah, and I'm so if Sony Bend, like, they Golden Abyss, and it was kind of like, that was an awesome game, free on Vita, and that's still like, when you show people the Vita, like, you should either that or Killzone Mercenary, I think, in order to show them what power of that and how do. And I think that they deserve everything. And I did. I'm really hoping that all the rumors about them doing survival horror game are true. And I hope I please be a PS4.
That would be cool if they had like all these different like first, second party devs who like bring all these different genres all under like PlayStation exclusive. Like it's pretty impressive feat, I think.
That's why I'm a fan over Xbox, just because they have the exclusives. That stuff you can only get on PlayStation. It only does PlayStation, right?
Yeah, same for me. It's all about the games, man. That's and they got them in spades.
Yeah, going to what was on the screen right there, Drive Club. I hope Evolution goes back to MotorStorm personally.
That'd be cool.
I would love to see a muddy,
Can you
even
imagine...
like what was the second one called? Do you guys remember what the second?
Was it Apocalypse?
No, that was a third.
Oh, that was the
third one.
Oh, I don't remember the second one.
MotorStorm and Bear.
What?
Motor.
I don't remember.
Motor.
Brad says the network side is stuttering.
You're stuttering.
Brad, let me know how bad it is. Is it like is it
Brad's also in England.
That's true.
Let's be realistic. I'm not trying to be a dick, but he's also overseas.
No, I mean I'm not surprised. We had problems with it. Only does PlayStation last month too on the network
one
side.
Called Flips Pacific Rift.
Pacific Rift was what I was talking about. And that one was like real lush and green. I want them to do something like that again on PS4. That would be unbelievable looking.
Racing around giant robots and aliens would be awesome.
Yeah.
That'd be really cool from that. I was thinking because there are of drugs, more He-Man co-op and all online. A MotorStorm game where it was combined everybody liked about MotorStorm and add more like the derby type. Set your teams trying to take out the other players like that together. That'd be really, really awesome. I generally like the whole idea behind drugging. That's just because we're like, all right, we can all play together. You don't play multiplayer. I don't play racing. But we were all kind of like, yeah, we're gonna play this together. And it didn't really hold up. But at the time, it was in theory, it sounded great. So I feel like that's the type of game that would actually be more entertaining for us. It's not as meticulous. It's not as sim as Drive Club is. It's definitely more fun and goofy and based more about having fun with friends. And I think that would be a great way for MotorStorm to go. They learned in Drive Club and apply it to what they know and do well.
And there's always what me and Dean have been saying on Power Up. Sucker Punch is going to come out with a new Spider-Man game, and we're going to all be happy.
Well, let's go to that real quick. Sucker Punch is one of the big unknowns right now. They've been working on something ever since Second Son. I hope it's not Infamous personally. No. I really don't want it to be Infamous.
No, I want it to be something a little more
to somebody else.
A little more web-headed than Infamous.
Well, let's just be honest. That's not going to happen.
No. You don't know. Now, won't you feel silly?
PSX
if the trailer comes out and you
see a web,
and then you're like,
all of a sudden, Sucker Punch announces a partnership with. I mean, let's think about it realistically. Actually, now I think I was about to say Marvel, but Sony does own the rights to Spider-Man.
They certainly do.
Just the movie rights, though.
Here's the thing: the only reason why I think it's an actual possibility, right? Is because of all the things Marvel's been saying, like we're only working with like premium tier studios now before we make another game because we want the next batch of games to be something of high quality, comparing them to the Arkham games and stuff. And then they start working with Sony right after they say this. I'm just saying.
Retweet.
Stranger things have happened.
Okay.
Retweet.
I would be totally down for another superhero game. I do want them to go superheroes again. I think that's their bread and butter.
You mispronounced it. It's actually Spider-Man.
That's the end of that topic. We got to move on to mail time. I'm done. All right. First question. Dear It Only Does PlayStation, if you could take one exclusive from the PC or Xbox in general and bring it to the PlayStation, what would it be and why? Sincerely, the Bulldog Brad.
Thank you, Bradley, for the question. I appreciate it very much.
If you guys aren't watching the stream on the network side, there's a really nifty little PlayStation sound that happens during mail time, and that was cool.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that, Dean.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah, guys, if you're not watching the PC side of it, it's phenomenal. Drew puts a lot of hard effort and work.
Yeah, that was awesome.
You should go and appreciate it.
Greg, I'll start with you. If you could take one exclusive from the PC, you're the big PS fanboy right here, so I feel like you're going to have trouble with this.
Out of like the newest stuff that we've seen, or anything that
they've done? PC, Xbox exclusive.
We all know. This was me. I would have gone immediately and said Tomb Raider, but now we know we're getting that. I'm still upset over that and hurt. screw you, Crystal Dynamics. But continuing on, out of the ones we've seen most recently, Recore is definitely something that interests me a lot that I don't think I'll ever play again. And the one thing that I would love to see happen is if they brought Left 4 Dead and brought it over to Sony. That would be
that's
awesome.
possible. That's a possible one.
Yeah.
For sure.
I would love Left 4 Dead.
Left 4 Dead was exclusive on.
Yeah. I bought a
Really?
360 to play Mass Effect 1 and Left 4 Dead 1 and 2, the only 3 games I ever owned for an Xbox.
Dean, what about you?
That's a good question.
Do you need a moment?
I do. I don't know the answer.
Mike, do you have anything popping into your head?
I mean, I'll be honest. I mean, I have a big, giant man crush on Ori and the Blind Forest and anything and everything to do with
That's
it.
a good one.
So that's actually a really good one. And that, you know what's funny is it actually fits Sony's a little bit better than it does Microsoft's. And
I would
tell you,
agree with
like, I was really surprised when I found out it was it's going to be an exclusive. Like,
I feel like Cuphead fits.
There it is. I thought
better.
I was waiting for somebody to say it.
I was trying to
Don't
think,
you think?
Yeah, a lot.
100%. Well, I mean, I'll tell you right now, and I think it's kind of a funny thing that you say that, Dean. Yeah, with me saying Ori, it seems like anytime anybody thinks of an indie type project, everybody's thoughts, for the most part, seem to go more towards Sony than they do Microsoft. I think if you said any indie out there, no matter what one it is, I think everybody would be like, "Oh yeah, it's probably going to be on Sony. Oh, it's going to be Microsoft exclusives." I never would have guessed. And I feel like that's the type of thing, and that's kind of actually a bad mold they set. So, as far as big IPs, man, I don't know. I mean, let's a Halo, but I think I just want to play it.
I don't think that would be at home on PlayStation though.
No.
It feels like an Xbox thing,
right?
Because same with Gears. Gears wouldn't feel right on PlayStation. I think Recore is a great answer.
Recore is a very good answer. I think
Break would be a good one too.
Mine would probably be Sunset Overdrive because first Insomniac, for one thing, has already worked terribly well with Sony, and I would have played that game a lot more if because I don't put a lot of stock into my Xbox gamer score. You know what I mean?
Wait, what, Greg? What?
I just had a stroke. I don't know if you guys ever played this game, but this was the best game I've ever played, and nothing ever happened with it. Nolan North did the voiceover for the main guy that played it. It was a downloadable title on XBLA. It was one of the Summer Live Arcade games. It was called Shadow Complex.
Yeah, Complex, yeah.
Fucking nominal game.
I heard that was an amazing game.
That to oh my god, that's one of my favorite games of all time. Like that game did stuff to me.
Yeah,
I totally
I thought Among Thieves was your favorite game of all time, Greg. You just said that earlier, and then you said Kingdom Hearts, and now we're with Shadow Complex.
Guys, let's be realistic. 50 Shades of Grey is Greg's favorite thing of all time ever.
Anyway, before Greg stroked over my sentence, I was gonna say I don't put a lot of stock into my gamer score like on Xbox, so I would have loved to get Sunset Overdrive and get some trophies, some multiplayer with my PlayStation friends.
Did they ever have they never had a platinum, right, for Xbox? You just got all the achievements. No,
it's just 1K. It's the 1,000 gamer score is your thing. You get getting all the trophies. You get an achievement at the end for getting all the other achievements.
I would really like to see Inside.
Fable.
Do you guys remember Inside? It's Limbo, the guy who made Limbo. It's their next game.
No.
That's not coming to Sony?
I think that it's either Xbox entirely exclusive or Xbox timed exclusive. We don't know right now. But as far as we know, I'm pretty sure it's Xbox exclusive. And I think it looks really, really cool. Yeah. I think the other one for me would be Recore. Scalebound, I still say doesn't look good. I don't think that game looks good at all.
I'm actually kind of excited.
It looks kind of old, I feel like.
Yeah, it looks really stale and boring to me. I don't know. That one just doesn't interest me.
I actually am kind of excited for Scalebound myself.
Well,
you also liked Green Lantern, so.
Greg, let's be realistic. You aren't one to judge what like.
Oh, that's good news. Rick said it's timed exclusive. Just to interrupt real quick.
But
yes, thank God.
That's the thing is I know when a game is not good and I like it anyway. You know what I mean? I'm not going to sit here and say certain games no, it's good.
We're done with that, guys. We got to move on. Topic number 2 goes to Greg. Gregory, you are up.
Yes. So my question that I'm bringing to the table tonight, the webosphere, is which PlayStation 10 character do you most relate to in an emotional and a physical sense? So I figured we could kind of break this up in 2 ways. Number 1, we would think of who we all compare to. And then number 2, I kind of figured we could all pick each other's PlayStation characters.
Oh, that's a fun little game you
got.
This
is adorable. I expect no less from Gregory Verga.
That's true. You do have fun party games.
That means so much to my heart hole.
Really? I feel like Greg is the host from Buzz.
That dude, I was just gonna say that. I was gonna say that. Oh my god, I hate you for interrupting me because I wanted to say that so bad.
Did we all get the little controllers? Does everybody still have those? Because I do.
Oh man,
yeah.
Forget. So who should we start off with? I say we start off with Drew, and we'll just go in order here. Circle. So obviously, the one that I pick for Drew right off the bat, everyone says it all the time. Nathan Drake. He's Nathan Drake. You, Theo, you son of a
I knew
bastard.
it was coming. I timed this, guys.
Yeah, but you know what?
That's
Nathan Drake's
fucking
got like some edges. Like he's like,
yeah, Drew's kind of mysterious. Like we don't know what he does.
yeah, but Nathan
now,
Drake's
Drew
the kind of
has
guy
some-
like he'll walk out.
Oh, do you guys
on
see it?
ya,
Look at the
you
likeness.
know, he'll shoot a guy in the
tell you
face.
right now, Drew has some edginess that you guys
I feel like if Drew was put on an island with some
Yeah.
like crazy, like you don't even know what's happening to him, like
don't
Drew
even
would start
know.
snapping people.
Oh, dude, Drew would be Rick Grimes, 100%.
Oh,
Rick Grimes.
easily. Yes, that's
On
why
the
I pictured Drew
dictatorship,
becoming
bitch.
in like a scary situation,
Right,
like biting off
exactly what
people's
it would be.
ears.
You'd be like, no, fuck that we're doing this and we're doing it my way.
Yeah.
You know?
Hell yeah, hell
Right. Take it.
yeah. Drew, who do you most? Like, who would you like though? If you
Who
could
would I
be
like to be? I wouldn't
Yeah.
want to be Nathan Drake, to be honest with
What
you.
is the question? Who we would like to be, or who we see ourselves relating to?
Yeah.
Well,
it's
we
who
get to
think-
pick the ones that relate the most to them, but then you get to pick of who you think you relate most to.
Okay.
This is such a tough question. I should have thought about this a little more before.
Good.
It really is a tough
Well,
question.
because there's a difference between who he would like to be and who he feels he actually would be. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, you're just. I get what you mean.
I'm just trying to.
No, I get what you mean.
I feel like I'm
the-
Ethan
You're
Mars.
like, let's set terms.
Yeah, I need to know.
I'm the lonely, depressed guy.
Wait, who'd you say?
Ethan Mars from Heavy Rain.
Oh my God, you're so the opposite of that. You're not a lonely, depressed guy. I would pick you more as like I wanted to say the FBI detective, but then he's like a drug addict. You're not a drug addict.
No.
What is his name again? Do you remember his name with like the cool Ari glasses?
I don't remember.
Damn, that's
Been
gonna
a
piss me
while.
off. Although I could see you yelling press X to Jason a lot. I feel like that's like a,
Jason! Yep.
Which is
That
kind of
could-
funny because that was actually.
Are we allowed to
almost
say
like-
that Dean is
Oh.
Batman?
yes, that's
It
all.
wasn't exclusive though.
Accept.
I accept this responsibility.
Can I just say my second one for Greg? If he's not the Buzz guy, he's definitely Sackboy. Because the amount of character that kid has is absolutely ridiculous, and he can just wear a costume and be anybody.
I think Grace Hill
that's a
melts his
good
ass, though.
answer.
It's like, oh,
That's actually-
are we moving on to Greg? Is that who's next?
I guess so. Yeah. Uh oh, Dean. What do you have something ready over there?
I'm just curious. I'm just trying to prepare.
Yeah, go ahead, Dean. You've been talking with Greg a lot over the last like 3 months or so.
Greg's got a few, dude. Greg could be the first one that jumps to mind.
I'm
Is
nervous.
Crash Bandicoot.
Oh, that's a good one.
Why Crash Bandicoot?
He's just he's got that same. He's always moving, lots of energy. He's got a little, he's got a little that edge. Crash has like that little panache,
We kind of
Yeah.
both
I
have
just
like
feel
a
like
big
I could see it.
noses.
Spinning around, acting wacky all the time.
Yeah, that's
You're
true.
very Crash.
You know what just came to me for Dean real quick?
Yeah, go.
Who is the sidekick from Infamous?
Zeke.
Zeke.
Zeke is the worst.
But you kind of look like him a little bit. Minus he doesn't have the facial hair like you do, but
That is the greatest answer that ever came out of this. I'm so
I
happy.
think I might just refer to him as Zeke.
Because Dean's like he wants to be a superhero so bad, but he can't ever get powers. Like he never catches a break. Like that's totally Dean.
wow,
True,
this
perfect.
applies on many levels. Actually, you're
That's
right.
so perfect.
so deep.
Like if one of us was superheroes, Dean would be like, "But like, guys, like, what are you doing tonight?" I'd be like, "No, like I'm going out. I'm saving people." And Dean would be, "But I could come too. Like, do you want me to come?" Dean's
He's
upset.
I'm not accepting Zeke at
Dean's
all.
like, "So I'm not Cole," is what you're saying.
Would it be mean
Zeke
to
is the
say
worst
that
one.
Mike is the hippo from Sly Cooper?
Oh, what the
Yes,
fuck?
it would be so.
Murray.
He's the muscle of the group.
He's Murray.
Ooh,
He's
man,
Murray.
this is getting dark. It's all getting very dark.
If we're going Sly Cooper, then Drew is definitely Bentley. You're the brains of all the operations.
Guys,
If we're all Sly Cooper, Dean's Sly Cooper, because we all know Dean's carrying some secrets with him. Drew is Bentley. Mike is Murray, and I'm Carmelita Fox. Let's be honest.
I
think
was
this
gonna
all
say
works.
I probably would be Quark.
Who?
Oh, from
I could see that.
Ratchet and Clank.
Oh, from Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah.
I wanted to say Ratchet because I like Ratchet's sense of adventure and all that kind of stuff, but I feel like I'm fooling myself if I say that. You know what I mean?
You just said I was a fucking hippo, you dick.
For the muscle part, Mike. For the muscle part.
He's the brawn of the.
He's the brawn.
And he's always the one that's like yelling at people. I feel like that's kind of
exactly. And he likes donuts,
who are
right,
the other
Mike?
ones though? You said.
Like
You said I had a couple.
I don't know. I lost my train of thought now. You guys threw me off with the shit.
He's so angry on the inside.
I named my chinchilla Murray, says Brad. You have a chinchilla, Brad? I didn't know that. I love chinchillas. I used to have a bunch of chinchillas.
You a bunch of them? Did you run a chinchilla farm?
No, we had like 4 of them, though.
They live forever.
You had a gaggle of chinchillas.
Yeah, they do live a pretty long time. The one, Willie, that we had, I think she lived 15 years. So, yeah, they do live quite a while.
That's crazy, yeah.
They're nice pets. I don't know where that came from.
I know, I was...
Chinchilla.
So,
Dean equals Booker DeWitt, says Tyler.
Who was that?
Dean equals Booker DeWitt.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That's a compliment.
Yeah, I would say.
Very nice one.
If you're at all Troy Baker in any sense, I would say that's a compliment.
Yeah, that's funny. Mine for myself was going to be Joel. Because I feel like...
you're like dark and brooding.
I am a little... I have the capacity to be, and I can be selfish, too.
I feel like that's kind of cold then,
Joel
too, a
is
little
selfish.
bit. I'm surprised you didn't go with that from Infamous.
Well... I'm not going to sit here and call myself Nathan Drake, you know what I mean? I'm not going to be myself like that.
I didn't call myself Nathan Drake.
Call it like it is.
You guys called me Nathan Drake.
I don't see Cole in myself as much as I see
you more
Joel.
as... Yeah, I see you more as Joel. Just because he has the darker side, but like when he does care about somebody, like when you finally open up to stuff like hardcore and like you give your all to them.
It's like he's that, like, spoilers, I guess, for the end of The Last of Us, but like he's selfish for out of like the right reasons, and like I've totally been like like I would straight up, like if someone was gonna move or something, I'd be like, I don't want you to move, I want you to stay here only because that's like what.
If I was in the apocalypse, Joel is the person I would want to be. I have no shame in saying that whatsoever. I want to be that person in the apocalypse. He's a good person. He's the Rick. He really is the Rick of the Last of Us. He goes all the way. He doesn't hold back. He does what he has to do. He's a survivor.
I feel like I would totally be like Riley, just like joking around in a Halloween store and then like dying.
Or Ellie, for that matter.
Yeah, that's true. I guess I could
Don't
kind
give
of
Greg that compliment.
I would love that so much. I love Ellie.
Ellie's a great character.
Ellie's the shitballs. I love.
Mike could be Sweet Tooth.
Sweet Tooth. I feel like we thought we got Mike right.
That's gonna come from this conversation.
What? Sweet Tooth is fucking
There is
dope,
absolutely
dude.
nothing that is going to come out that will be good for me.
You don't think Sweet Tooth is cool? I think
I
Sweet
feel
Tooth
like
is
that's a compliment if I've ever heard one.
Did you guys ever play Twisted Metal on like PS1?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you guys actually get Sweet Tooth's ending?
No.
I don't remember.
I mean, I know what his story is and what he's trying to do, but
yeah. I mean, it's no, I don't want.
So Mike doesn't want to beat Sweet Tooth.
Who would you pick for yourself then, Mike?
Mike, who do you want to pick
yourself?
I don't know, man.
Well, then you're fucking Sweet Tooth, bro.
Or Murray.
Well, so far I've gotten called a hippo and demonic clown, so that's going.
Mike could totally be. I don't remember the guy's name, but he plays on Mr. Robot, that character from Until Dawn. Like would try to like spoil. Oh, I don't want to spoil. That game is like fairly new. I don't want to spoil it, but that's who he is. Drew, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't. I have no idea what you're talking
about. Because of the thing that happens when they're like, oh, okay.
Okay. I kind of see what you're going for there.
Because he's kind of evil, but like not.
And kind of a douchebag.
So... Yeah. Exactly.
That's the thing. We're missing the classiness part, though.
Right. The thing is you guys keep picking me for like all these guys who
we're getting the douchebag. We're not getting the class.
Nah, I literally just saw a picture of Sweet Tooth and said that. That's not my real pick for you.
Wait, who did you say? You said somebody's name.
I said, who's Barrett? Super Dave said Mike equals Barrett.
Oh, from Final Fantasy
VII.
VII.
From Final Fantasy VII.
That's a good one. You have a machine gun for an arm, so that's kind of
Can you do a Barrett voice right now, or would that be way too racist?
I can't remember it. I can't remember what it is.
Yeah, I feel like...
Give me a line from him. Give me a line.
I don't think we should go there. Yeah, we shouldn't go there.
Drew, one of those.
Drew!
I'm like, Drew, no! I slowly get out of it. I was gonna say, I mean, can we count like all the Disney characters too from Kingdom Hearts? That's a Sony exclusive.
I feel like we're really stretching this now.
Yeah, I know.
The topic's almost over, so it's all good.
That's who I pick for myself. I pick Sora because I care about everybody and everything.
Say, I probably am closer to Solid Snake. I mean, physical.
Well, that you have a sad life then, man. Solid Snake has one of the saddest.
Yeah,
lives
like his
ever
life
in
kind
video
of
games.
sucks. So why do you want to
No,
be
did you
him?
hear what I said at the end? I said physically.
Oh, physically. Well.
Oh, easily that.
We're talking about old Snake or young Snake.
Young Snake, of course.
And yeah, and there's Cole. I should have saved that for the end.
There's Dean.
There's
I just saw
Zeke,
Dean.
aka Dean, and we also have Cole. I feel like Mike could be Cole. I could see that.
Actually, you know what's funny that you say that is I wasn't gonna say it at first, but actually I feel like that way. Just because Cole has that redeemable quality to that I ended up liking, but he could also be a real big douchebag.
Yeah, and let's not forget Cole's redesign in the second one when they reviewed it on Game Informer was totally douchey.
Right.
Yeah.
I want to know how exactly you arrived. Is it seriously because of my hair? I'm Zeke.
I don't know. You kind of have like the look a little bit, Dean.
Forever.
I wear a vest and like old Elvis sideburns and sunglasses.
Can you please do that for Halloween? For the
Wait, listen,
Halloween
come on.
episode?
Zeke's got to come back on the
Well,
Well, you're
screen.
kind of like the
God.
brother
Please,
from
Zeke.
Second Son.
I looked up Zeke, and I don't look like Zeke.
Please, please, please.
There he
dress
is. There he is. I think it was.
Drew got so excited.
I'm so excited. I have to say,
Wait,
watching this video back here, Infamous 2 was so much better than Infamous 1. I'm sorry.
This was awesome, dude.
Numeray. That's
So
not
much
Quo
better.
and Nick. Stop the nonsense. Those were like two awesome characters, and going down those paths and like having to shoot what powers you got.
That freaking opening, man. That opening.
So with the helicopter.
Yeah, the one that you
One
just
was, like,
seen there, where he
precision-
sees
Yeah,
the
yeah.
beast for the first time. Ooh, wait, did I just the beast? Wasn't that the name?
Yeah, Dean. How are you not the beast?
You're the beast from Infamous.
I don't know. I don't know how it slid by us all. That's literally where I got my PSN name from.
Are you serious?
Infamous for real?
Yes. Yeah.
That's
Oh wow.
I
We're
didn't-
learning
Origin
stuff
story,
today.
everybody.
Yeah.
I knew my question would have breakthroughs, but I never thought we'd get this far. Wow.
Greg,
Uh,
please.
Cyclonia says Greg would be Cole or Delson.
I totally. If I was one of the superheroes, you know, I'd be Delson because like I'm the annoying one that like people have to deal with, and I like sometimes wear beanies or hats.
There you go. Home Like Bacchus says I like your room manager. Appreciate
Really,
it. This
that's
is the
all it
level
takes,
up room.
Greg. Just put your hair
Can I-
in a way, and that's
Can I
who
go
you
a
are.
little real quick?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Can I pick on a fan
Dude,
of
it's
you?
crazy.
You gotta be quick. You only got like 30 seconds.
I'm gonna say right now, Rick, GFN, Rick,
Mm-hmm.
Bully,
From the
Okay,
video
Iron
game
Man.
Bully.
the kid from Bully.
You can't pick that, Dean.
Why not?
You can't pick Iron Man. How is that a PlayStation exclusive?
That's weird because I feel like it just happened.
Wait, did Dean choose Iron Man for himself?
Yeah, he's
No,
the
that's-
devil.
yeah.
Dean's Daxter from Jack and Daxter. That's who Dean is.
I mean, that's a compliment if I ever heard one.
I love Daxter.
Daxter's
but, like,
I can
hate-
be pretty annoying.
Yeah, I
Someday,
hate
can we please?
that I love Daxter.
Can we do an
That's how
Rolling
I-
Does PlayStation where we argue Ratchet and Clank versus Jack and Daxter?
Jack and
Oh,
yeah.
Daxter's winning every
That's not
time.
even argument.
I
Jack
disagree.
and Daxter.
Winning every
That's
time.
Ratchet and Clank. Come
Jack
on.
and Daxter.
Yeah, I'm Ratchet and Clank all the
Oh
way.
my god, Drew,
See, this is
why
what
we're
I'm talking
brothers.
about. This would be a
why
great
we're brothers.
topic of discussion
Ratchet
for one of the
is
later
Yeah,
ones.
so
that means I have to
much
agree
cooler.
with. That means I have to agree with Dean, and Dean always argues with me.
That is true.
Yeah, that's what I like to do.
Good
man.
luck
I'm
with
sorry.
that battle. Drew and I are going to be writing crap down. We're going to get it done.
You know,
Real quick, before we got a
being a nerd
couple
doesn't
seconds
always
left here. Who would Brad be, video game wise?
Oh
God.
my god.
Brad would be Zeke. Come on.
No,
He's got to be a British
no.
person.
No, he has to be a British person. I was just going to say that. Chloe Fraser from
that
Uncharted.
seems like kind of pigeonholing him just because of his
I feel like you
accent.
just thought of the first British person that
That's
is
what
in
I
games.
did. That's what I did.
That's about it. That's all you
Yeah.
got.
Well, because like they both kind of have like weird hair. Like they're both their haircuts kind of don't make sense to me.
Again, the hair. We're right back at it.
And sometimes when they both talk, like I feel like some of their words kind of fall off.
Well,
like
what
Chloe
about
will talk to
if we
Drake
all
and I'll be
wore
like,
What characters would we have become if we all wore hats here today?
Mike would be definitely Nelson because I feel like he could rock a good beanie look.
Yeah, everything changed. Everything changed.
Can I replace that with vest so that Dean can be Zeke?
Or Cyber.
Dean, you're never winning this fight. Like you will be Zeke forever.
I really want you to be Zeke for Halloween, dude. The November 1st show. We all need to dress up.
No.
Yeah, I think that's gonna happen.
That's totally happening.
I mean, if you guys want to really try to fight me to do it, I accept.
I feel like Mike could be what's the sage from Jack and Daxter?
Oh, I don't
Like he
remember.
kind of
his
yells
name,
at everyone, but at the end of the day, like you have to love them.
Does he have
Like,
a hat?
that's-
Does he have a hat? Because I don't think he does.
He has the tree trunk.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
You know who? Is it Samos? Something like
All
that.
right, finally we can move on from that topic. That was a good one, though, Greg. Mail time. All right, next question is: Dear Only Does PlayStation, do you think it's a good idea for Sony to move PlayStation Experience to California? It makes the trip twice as expensive. Sincerely, Zacho3TO.
Real quick. PlayStation Experience wasn't in California last year?
No, last time it wasn't.
So, I mean, I feel like that answers the question for me.
Well, last time I think it was in like Vegas or something.
I was gonna say I think it was like Vegas or Texas. It was somewhere.
Why does it make
it was in a desert?
It makes it twice as expensive for Zach. Let's get that out of the way first of all. It doesn't make it any more expensive for us. It's always been equally as expensive for us.
Yeah, it's a very one-sided complaint on that one. I feel like only the people that are going to be farther away.
Well, let's go into Sony's minds here a little bit. Like, why did they do this? I just have to imagine it puts them in the realm of a lot of big studios. For instance, Kind of Funny Games. You know, they're talking about it all the time, how they don't even consider it a trip because it's like 10 minutes away from them. So it's convenient for those kind of guys that don't want to travel to Vegas. They just get to walk out their door, drive, take a cab, 10 minutes, and they're at PlayStation Experience. You know?
Agreed that way.
I think it's better personally, probably.
Yeah. Yeah, and like then you have a majority of video game studios are there too. You have Santa Monica's there. You have a bunch of the Sony studios are all out there. So it just makes sense. It's logical that way. I was kind of confused why they had it anywhere else besides like New York or like somewhere in California.
I'm glad you bring that up, like New York, because don't they own the PlayStation Theater now?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they did.
So why? I mean, and that's kind of annoying me. I mean. Here's why it annoys me, not because New York is so close to us, but it annoys me because there's nothing that happens in New York for gaming.
They did launch the PlayStation 4 there. That was where that live stream was from.
Yeah, but that was nothing. Yeah, that's one rock in a giant ass pond. Sure. I mean, there's nothing that happens on the East Coast at all. And considering Sony has a theater dedicated to themselves in one of the biggest hubs in the US, I don't understand why they wouldn't have it there.
It confused me a lot why a lot more events don't happen on the East Coast side of things, but I guess everyone's based more, like I said earlier, everyone's kind of based more out in Cali, so it's just easier. It's more convenient that way. I think you'll see like moves like New York Comic-Con that Mike just went to has gotten so much bigger, and even something like Philadelphia Comic-Con that we all went to, like that's even gotten to become a bigger event. Sure. It's a little bit on the smaller side still, but like talent that they get and the people that they're getting is, I think it grows exponentially throughout the years. So hopefully we'll see like E3 happening on Long Island. I'll be like,
just wanted you to know I met David Tennant again.
Oh my god.
Lies. No, but I would love PlayStation Experience to eventually come to New York. I think it'd be cool if every year it's different. Like if they're just trying to bring it all over the United States, it makes sense, right?
Here's my thing. Why don't they? I mean, I don't think there's any reason why they couldn't do some sort of event, one half of the year PlayStation Experience, in the summer half, and then do something in the or in the winter half, and then do something else in the summer half, around E3 time. There's almost no reason why they couldn't do that, or if they're doing a GDC conference, why they couldn't hold that conference and do something, use that theater to benefit yourself. You have that theater named for you, and you have tons of dedicated fans over here. There's no reason why you shouldn't.
Yeah. I agree with that, for sure. Yeah, I hope PlayStation Experience is awesome this year. I feel like we could probably do an entire topic just on PlayStation Experience, but maybe we'll save that for the Level Up show.
Yeah. Especially when they did awesome with the first ever one that they ever held. Like, it was a lot more than I think anybody was ever expecting from it. So as the years go on, I could assume it's only going to get bigger and better.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We're about to move on to our trailer of the month, but I do want to thank again Day Turk Gerbs and Big Nate Dog for the follows so far.
Nice name.
Anybody else who is watching right now? I don't know how many people we have on PlayStation. Dean, do you have it up by chance, the show page?
I have the network one up.
Yeah, is the network one running okay?
Yeah, the network one's fine for me.
Seems like it.
Okay, cool. Because I know earlier it was running poorly, but what I did is I changed the background to a static image instead of the moving wave. I think that might have helped out a little bit.
It was running fine originally for me, and now it's running fine. We have 44 on PlayStation.
Oh, that's awesome. 44 people? Nice. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody, on PlayStation. If you want to follow us, if you like what we're doing, It Only Does PlayStation is our dedicated PlayStation podcast on the second Wednesday of every month. So, yeah, make sure to follow the show so you get notified when we do go live. Just hit that heart button live from PlayStation in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. Your name will pop up on the TV, and we will, of course, shout you out. Are you guys ready to move on to our trailer of the month?
Dun, dun, dun. I want to say yes.
Let's move on here.
Moving on up.
Moving on up to the east side.
To a big apartment.
That's not all the song goes.
I know, but I like that.
Ooh. Shut up.
This trailer gives me the feels in the best way.
The feels?
Really? Mm-hmm. Why feels? It just gets me
I don't know,
excited.
it just... Well, not like, what are you thinking? That's what the feels means.
No, that's not what the feels means.
What do you guys consider the feels?
Like the end of Flash.
Oh, like an emotional state? I just cried.
Yeah, feels is short for feelings, emotions, emotional.
I call those the tingles.
Yeah, well, you're fucking.
You have it backwards. It would be more related to tingles than tingles.
Where is this conversation going? We're watching Far Cry Primal right now.
We're talking
Guys.
about feeling, Drew.
This trailer does look absolutely gorgeous, though. I feel like a lot of people predicted that this was going to happen, though.
It makes sense, right? You had mammoths in Far Cry 4. Why not just do,
Yeah.
you know, what would it call? Prehistoric mammoths
It's
now.
just called Far Cry Primal, though, right? It's not like Far Cry 4 Primal?
No, Greg, how much of Far Cry 4 and Far Cry 3 did you play?
I got into like the first hour of it, if that.
And how much of Far Cry 4 did you play?
Me?
Yeah.
A lot.
Would you ever have guessed this is their next step? Okay. Just want to make sure that's the point, because I had no idea where this was coming from.
They already have a lot of these creatures and stuff, is my whole point. Like mammoths.
Mammoths.
There's no mammoths. Saber-tooths.
Right.
In Far Cry 4?
Yeah, man. There's neither of those.
There was a huge elephants.
Oh, well, there's some kind of animal with a tusk, and there's some sort of jaguar or leopard character.
Those are not the same thing.
Yeah,
These
But
are
it's all like the
prehistoric.
same animations. All you gotta do is throw two mammoth tusks on it. It's not
They're
good.
not.
You go to this,
It's not the
you see
same.
the elephant, you're like, hey, look, a mammoth.
No, but I'm saying like to already have all those assets established, like it just makes sense that they would do a game where they have all the creatures set up. It's kind of the same graphical engine, and they're gonna do another game like that. I
Yeah,
think it made sense.
I think so. It makes perfect sense. It's
Thank you,
using the Far
Drew.
Cry 4 engine, I have to imagine. They had this team running in tandem
guys need to get a
simultaneously
room.
with Far Cry 4.
Is it an easy transition? Sure. Was this the logical next step of them going prehistoric times with no weapons and no supernatural aspects, considering that was the entirety of every single game before it? Yeah, you're right. That's the natural progression of the game.
Far Cry Blood Dragon wasn't like anything like that.
Far Cry
And
Blood
Far
Dragon
Cry
is all
1
about weapons.
And Far
What are you
Cry
talking
1
about?
and 2 were like completely different experiences from Far Cry 3.
No, but they all have been based around gunplay.
And supernatural power.
Yeah, but they all
Every
have
single
bow and
game you have
arrows. They all have knives. They all have other stuff.
No, they didn't.
Or
They
maybe
always
it's a
bring-
twist,
Right.
and this seems like it's prehistoric
I hope
times,
we play
and then
Primal,
suddenly
yeah.
like aliens come down and
That's what
like
I
guns
hope
come.
that-
into
Dude,
play.
I really wouldn't be that
That
surprised.
would be
quite
absolutely
frankly.
amazing. Can you imagine like someone at freaking that Ubisoft Studios was sitting there watching Ancient Aliens? He was like, you know what? What if we played that guy, and then all of a sudden, bam, aliens come in, and now you are the guy that's.
And then Emerald Lagasse to introduce them.
Is anybody getting this? Is anybody even excited?
Yeah, I'm gonna get it, no doubt. I'm excited about it.
As Mike puts on or as Dean puts on the glasses.
It's getting late for me. My eyes get tired.
Deal with it. Those are deal with it glasses almost. You're pretty close.
Deal with it.
Any other comments
I'm
on
gonna
Far
get
Cry Primal before we move on here?
Looks beautiful.
I'm excited. I'm
Looks cool.
surprised it's a full-length game. I thought it was gonna be a DLC, but it is not.
No, yeah, $60 full price. February is when it comes out.
It was rumored to be DLC though, right?
No.
I don't think so.
I'm not sure.
Or like kind of like in the same vein as like Blood Dragon, like the standalone thing. Is that not true?
I didn't hear that, but maybe. I'm not sure. All right, let's move on, guys. Let's move on to topic
Good job,
number.
Greg.
Good talk, everybody.
Good
I'll
talk.
be here all night. My name is Greg Virgo.
Let's move on to topic number 3 here.
I love
Dean.
the PlayStation.
You are up.
Top.
Toe.
Dean, are you there?
Are you reading your topic? Do you know your topic? I'm just confused.
No, I know.
Get my
He's pulling it up.
I was reading through something. Take it easy, Jesus.
You were like topic, and then nothing happened.
I was
I
reading.
wanted to make sure you were alive.
I'm fine, guys.
His eyes are just tired. Gosh.
My topic
Deal with
is I want to know what everybody feels like the 2016 plan for Sony is going to be. That's all the way through, like from January all the way through next holiday.
Yeah, because they're having a pretty lackluster holiday, right?
Right. And I feel like that's intentional, personally. So let me kick it off.
Go.
I think they've decided ahead of time that they were going to take like a little bit of a hit this holiday, because Microsoft has a pretty nice holiday coming up.
Yeah, not bad.
And I think Sony is intentionally taking this little dip, because I think, like me and Andrew talked about a bunch, no first-party studios have come out with any games, and they're all working on PlayStation 4 games.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I think Uncharted 4 is coming out, in March, so we know that. They're already trailing out these huge games in the spring. And when does Ratchet & Clank come out?
April.
April.
Don't forget,
I thought it was later.
Witness is early next year. Firewatch is now February.
Right.
Those are 2 PlayStation exclusives for all intents and purposes. Just
to sidetrack for a second, Ratchet & Clank comes out in April, and Jak and Daxter comes out when?
Ratchet & Clank, I have a date on GameStop for June 30th, which is what I thought. Guys, is that not
They
true?
wanted to leave Jak and Daxter on a high note, Mike, not with All for One and all other bullshit Ratchet & Clank games that we've gotten over the past 5 years.
That's true.
Wait, guys, I have the date say for Ratchet & Clank is 6/30. And that's what it says on GameStop and Amazon.
Maybe it's just a movie
that's
not
true.
Might just be a placeholder. I don't know.
Yeah,
here's what I want to say. I think that Sony is going to do a much bigger PlayStation VR push than we're even imagining right now. I think PlayStation Experience, we're going to get God of War 4 probably. We'll probably get Gran Turismo 7. But everything else is going to be Project Morpheus, PlayStation VR centric, or it's going to be, oh, and by the way, this is playable on PlayStation VR. Oh, by the way, this is on PSVR as well. I think every single thing they reveal for the most part is going to be like, by the way, you can play this. Even if it's not like designed around it, you can play it in big screen with the headset on, and it'll have some type of functionality there. And then they're going to make that big announcement, No Man's Sky, March, PlayStation VR launch title.
Kind of like how they did with the Vita first came out. Like, oh, you can bring the second screen. Or like how they even did with the PlayStation Move, like Heavy Rain, and they like remade all of those using PlayStation Move. By the way, now you can do this with this. I could totally see them doing that. I just don't see them going all in on VR because they know they messed up with
I don't agree with that. Actually, I think every game is going to be compatible with VR for the most part. Every big major title is going to be compatible with VR. They're going to have to make it work. And you say that Move, was a bad move with Move. No, that was the only way that Move was going to take off. Same thing with 3D. And I mean, they didn't really do it that well with 3D. They did a little bit better with Move, but that didn't even take it. And I think right now they know that, listen, this is the next step. This is big. There's already a bunch of competition with it. Something that's pretty much the same, if not better than what we have. We really need to show our strong suit, and that's, we have this technology. It's pretty damn good. People are loving it, but we also have all these awesome games that people love even more. And combine them where you can only get the this experience on the PS4 with PSVR. Sony is not. Here's the thing with Sony, as far as when it comes to their PlayStation line, they're not stupid. Sony is stupid for a lot of their other departments, but their gaming area for console gaming is not dumb, and they're very smart with it. They knew that a lot of their games, if they pushed it up, it was going to be in stiff competition. Next year is going to be almost nothing in competition wise, unless it's a third party. You have Recore, which we haven't heard almost anything about. That's the only game I know of coming out for Microsoft, that's exclusive for next year. Sony is hitting with all these bombs. It's like, you know what? You wanted all this? Bam, we got all this. They kind of did it with their unveiling of the PS4 pricing at that E3. It was like, bam, we're going to give you everything you want. They did it at this E3. Like, hey, Microsoft did pretty decently, but you know what? You get Final Fantasy VII, you get Last God, they did, bam, they hit all at once. And that's what they're probably going to do, again, as far as release strategy. They're going to put all these first-party, second-party games all at once, all in the same year, and really dominate that year. Sony is not about dominating quarters or a month anymore.
No, Sony plays the long game. And that's what I think it's exactly what they're doing. I think they're going to abolish the summer drought as we know it. I think putting out Uncharted in the spring and Ratchet & Clank in the late spring is not an accident. And I think all these first-party studios are going to start trickling out over the summer, and then I think they're going to save their biggest ones for like their 1-2 punch for Christmas. And I think Microsoft might be in some trouble for.
Yeah, I think what Sony does is they take a lot of these games that we haven't seen in a while that look, in my opinion, amazing, like Rime, for instance.
Yeah.
One of my most anticipated PS4 games.
Yes.
They put that kind of thing out during the summer. And they trickle out these games because you're not going to see God of War next year, Gran Turismo 7, Horizon Until Dawn, Dreams. You're not going to see all these massive AAA games in one year. They're not going to blow their load like that. They don't need to. They're killing. I shouldn't say killing. Worldwide, they're doing a lot better. I mean,
they have an 8.5 right now. They're killing it.
Yeah, they're doing a lot better worldwide than Xbox, and they're doing very well in America. They're beating Xbox they don't really need to do much to keep that going. They're dropping the price $50 for Christmas. They got these amazing third-party bundles. I think that's going to hold them over, even with Xbox having Halo and Gears coming soon. Like, PlayStation is fine. They don't need to worry. Just keep doing what you're doing. Drag out these titles.
I think God of War is going to be a 2016 game.
I agree. I do think God of War will be
November.
I'm going to tell you right now. I think there is not one title that we don't know about. I think was it Horizon is the only one that's I think later than 2016. I think that's
confirmed for next year as far as
it is
announcement
confirmed
goes.
next year.
And so it's The Last Guardian.
Yeah.
So, like, that's the thing is they already have so many games.
Right, there's not one title that's not confirmed for 2016. That's, kind of what I was saying that Dean finished the thought on me for, is that they're going to dominate the entire year of 2016.
And then they still have other big surprises, too. Like Kingdom Hearts 3 is coming. We don't know when that's coming out. Final Fantasy 7 Remake. Like, they have a whole bunch of stuff that they're still stockpiling, I think. And then we still don't know.
Quantum Break or Quantic Dreams, game?
That's what I was going to say. What they're doing. And another Until Dawn was just teased by the developer.
Yeah, that's true.
Supermassive. That would be phenomenal.
I think Horizon is going to be pushed back, though, personally.
I would be okay with that. I think it should be pushed back.
Me too.
I want them to take as long. But here's the thing: you got to remember, they finished work on Shadows, or most of the team did. I think actually, in 2013. I think they said they finished on it.
I just got a feeling they're pushing. They're saying it's coming December, and that's like so close to. Like they're definitely, I think. They're
here's the thing: they will release it when Sony tells them to release it. It doesn't matter if the game is ready. They're going to be like, "Hey guys, we don't want this holiday. This isn't the right time for it. Take another 6 months, polish this game to hell and back, and release it in March."
Sony's good about that, though.
Images right now, and I want to play that game so bad.
Dude,
Drew has the video up now.
Felt about it. Yeah, everything I felt about it from E3, I just want it right now.
It looks so good, dude. It looks just like so much fun.
And that's the thing is when we're talking about this, I don't want to sound like a fanboy at all, but my God, when we talk about everything Sony has in the works and all the studios, like I feel like this is coming from somebody that doesn't own an Xbox, but does Microsoft even come close when it comes to first and second party studios?
I don't.
No,
I don't think we should take away from Microsoft at all. Like, I still think they had an awesome showing at E3 this year. Like, I enjoyed their conference.
I agree,
and I think like they're starting to get better with the indie titles, especially from someone coming. Like Dean said earlier, like the summer drought is going away. Like for me, the summer drought has already gone away. Like I looked it up and I bought 30 games this summer without PlayStation Plus, without anything for my Monday stream on Inday. I played Submerged. I played Everybody's Gone to the Rapture. We got Journey. Like there's so many games that they fill, and if you want games, you can find games. Like there's no such thing as a summer drought.
I agree with you.
So like for me, it's already been established. The people that only hold on to the AAA titles are the ones that are missing out on true gems. Like Submerge was phenomenal. It wasn't a long game by any means, but it was a beautiful artistic game and it told an amazing story. Same thing with Everybody's Gone to the Rapture, and I just recently played Soma on Inday. That was another awesome, scary game. They have some stuff out there. You just have to be willing to look for it, and you have to be. I think people need to step outside of themselves when it comes to genres. And try new things.
Let's go back to the plan, the whole idea of this topic. Yes. Do we think that Sony stays at $350 for the entirety of 2016?
What was your question? I'm sorry.
To stay at $350. We're now finally dropping for the first price drop ever on PS4. This is one of the longest waits I've ever seen for the first price drop. They're finally dropping at $50 to $349. Do they just stay with that for the foreseeable future?
I'll tell you right now, I think they do, and the reason why I think is that they're going to try to bundle it with the PS Move or the PSVR. And I have a strong feeling that the $50 price break, the reason why it took so, the reason why it took so long in the US at least was just because it was doing so well. But I think the next part was kind of a little more on that strategy that I was talking about as far as their business side goes. I'm going to bet you we're going to see a console bundle at $500 with PSVR. That
would be unbelievable. That would put the PSVR at $150, which is astounding.
Yep.
Can we all just make our comments again here? We had that question a few times in the chat already, and I know we've talked about this before, but what's your price point guess, guys? PlayStation VR coming out in March. When's it gonna...
It's not going to be less expensive than the Vita. It's going to be more expensive, if not the same price. I just can't see it.
So 200 and above.
Maybe they can do a bundle deal, which is something cool, especially if you already have PlayStation Move. Like if you have the Move controllers, it should be less. But for the VR sold separately by itself, which is how most of us are going to be ending up buying it if we do end up diving in, I think that $249.99 is going to.
Can we all agree that it's not going to be less than $200?
Okay.
I think 250 is actually that sweet spot.
What's the maximum it'll be?
3.
The max we want it to be?
The maximum we think they can get away with.
300.
Yeah, I agree.
They have to undercut the Oculus, man. I'll tell you that right now. And we don't even know anything about the Valve one.
They have to undercut their console at the end of the day. You can't charge something more than the PS4 system.
Yeah, I agree. How can you charge for a peripheral? How can you charge more for a peripheral than a console? You just can't.
Yeah.
You just can't. So unless the VR works and is compatible with other things and other devices and other options, if they come out with that, then
that's the thing. You have the TVs that are capable of doing much more now, just because they're so web-based. And I have a feeling that the VR will be capable with more than just the TV, than just the console.
If they announce that, that'd be awesome. And then charge $300 for it. But at the price point that is going to be sold and only be compatible with PlayStation 4, $250 is, I think, like the sweet spot. And I think if they could get it to $200, that would be astronomically insane and incredible.
I think that it would do really, really well if it hit the $200 price.
Me too.
I think it would actually be, that would put them as maybe the market leader when it comes to VR, and then becoming synonymous with it. Becoming the ones that you think of when you think of VR.
Is everyone like looking to buy one of these things? Are you guys looking to buy one of these things?
If it's 200, there's no doubt in my mind I'll get one.
Really?
I said from get-go I was going to buy it.
I'm the odd man out.
Really?
I think that 250 is pushing it, and 300 is probably too much, though.
Not even a little bit. I have paid little to almost no attention. I just don't care.
I have been following it at all. I don't care about it as much as like somebody that's tracking VR, but like when it comes to something that's a cool experience, like I ended up going all in on PlayStation Move. I got all the PlayStation Move games just because I was like, this is awesome. This is a fun thing. I got to
my thing is like, I don't want to, like, games is like my time to relax. Like, I'm not trying to wear like a fucking helmet.
Well, you don't have to always wear it.
You know, I'll tell you. Here's the thing, man. I think you're fearing it much more than you need.
It's not fear. It's preference. When I sit down, I want to have a controller and a screen and like just play my games.
But that's the thing. You will have a controller for most games.
But what about laying in bed? Like, how awesome would that be? Just being able to lay in bed, your head back on the pillow, and be able to. I would never.
That's not something I would do, though. It's not.
Dean,
suited for me.
Dean, I'm gonna throw this out at you. Rock Band 4 and all the other previous Rock Band games. That's not a traditional controller, but they got you up and playing games in a traditional, different way. And did you own a Wii?
Yeah, for the games that you could play with a traditional controller.
Oh, you never did like any.
I bought like 4 games. No.
Oh, that's crazy to me.
I bought it for
well, I'll still say Rock Band 4 to you, and I think if they sold you a sweet game with VR, I think they would sell you on it. Because I have yet to experience VR myself at like conventions and stuff, but I know that like everybody that was
the 3D movies came out, not gonna happen. Not into it.
I just know that people that were skeptical on it once they experience it have said, "Holy crap, I was wrong."
But that's the big difference. It's not skepticism. I think it'll work. I think it'll work well. I think everyone's been putting money into it and investing into it. I think it's gonna be great. I personally have no interest. You know what I mean? Like, I don't doubt that this is going to be a big thing. It's going to work. I just don't want it for me. Same with 3D. I don't want it. You know what I mean? I don't care for it. That's all.
We got a couple follows here. Thank you to Blitzkrieg BH and Terror Fear for the follows. Keep those hearts coming, guys. Hit that heart button live from PlayStation, bottom left-hand corner of your screen. We'll shout you out. One other side to this question to close off the topic of Dean here. What about their services? Do we think that they continue to focus on PlayStation Now? Do we think that they focus on PlayStation View at all? Do they add new services? What's going to happen there?
Yeah, you know, I haven't really heard too much about PlayStation View since that first big push.
It's rolling out still.
They rolled it out to a bunch more territories now. They added a few extra things to it, channels. Apparently, they've improved the stability of it. And how it handles the skipping and everything. Like my biggest complaint on it, and I mean I only had it the first month, but my biggest complaint on the actual service itself was how when it would constantly skip, and then you would be repeating things that you've already seen like 4 or 5 times in a row, or it would just completely cut out a segment that you weren't able to go back and rewatch.
Yeah, it was weird.
It was kind of jittery, but for a lot of people that have had it, since then have kept it. They said it's definitely improved a lot. So.
I think Sony steps up their game when it comes to the services that they offer, and I think that's where everybody else needs to kind of catch up, in my opinion. Like, PlayStation Plus I still don't understand it. Like, it doesn't make sense to me, and I don't know how it works. Like, they're releasing brand new games sometimes for free. I don't get how anybody makes money. It doesn't make any sense to me. When it comes to stuff like now, The other day, I was playing Uncharted Drake's Fortune. It was 2 in the afternoon, and Corey, one of our fans, had told me, "Oh, like I want to see you stream." Sent me a request, and I started stream playing with him. Haven't done it in like 2 months, and it was like solid, awesome connection, and like he was just chilling there watching me. It was like such a cool service.
It's things like that that are great, but then like I would love it if they could bone up on like their media player stuff, because I love my PlayStation almost for everything more than I do my Xbox. But if I want to watch a Blu-ray, I immediately go to my Xbox. When I want to watch Netflix, I go to my Xbox. It's just more convenient.
That ties into what I was going to bring up. Everybody, and I'm likely going to be the odd man out and going to get chastised a little bit, but I'll tell you right now, I feel like Microsoft has done a lot more catering to their fans as far as giving them what they want out of the UI updates. And I think Sony is still behind.
Out of the UI,
I think it's a little unfair. Yeah, I think that Xbox had to make more UI updates because they were being torn apart for a lot of how the UI was working.
They were also based around the Kinect, which they kind of scrapped, and that wasn't planned for. But I'll tell you right now, even I had the Xbox One. Don't forget, and it was definitely more frustrating without the Kinect because I didn't have one at the time. But I'll tell you right now, I appreciated certain things that Microsoft did way more than I do Sony, and it's almost like they're dragging their feet. And I'll tell you right now, I'm actually frustrated because there's no reason for excuses at this point. There's no reason we can't have folders. That's such a basic.
Here's the thing, dude. You guys talk about like laying on your bed with your VR. Sit in your chair, and when you are like Xbox, go to Netflix, and then you're like, play. That's intentional. I'm saying you're like half asleep. And you're like, go to Netflix, and then it's like, okay, and then you're like, play this, and then it's like, boom, you're like, sweet, like, good night, like it's it's
I want Dean to play a video game dressed with sideburns, a vest, and have to wear a headset for.
Let it go, just let it go.
We got to move on, guys. Let's move to another mail time here. This question, here we go. Dear, it only does PlayStation.
How are you?
PlayStation has many great exclusives over the years. However, which one was the biggest disappointment for you and why? Sincerely, GFN21, aka
Rick. Is this a question?
Great question. Sorry, excuse me. Mike, why don't you start? It seems like you have an answer already.
Is the order not the #1 thing for every single person ever?
Yeah, it's came to my mind, but I don't think it's the right. I don't think it's the
answer. I would disagree with that.
Okay, so here's the thing: you have to pick one. And is there a game that was more of a disappointment that was an exclusive to you?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I never played it, but I do know of games that were bigger disappointments
this year.
This year, PlayStation has many great exclusives over the years.
Over the years.
Yeah, this is
Layer. First of all, I think is a much bigger disappointment.
Then my answer was not the order because
it
was disappointing, but I didn't put like a terribly like great amount of stock into the order.
Yeah,
I misread that. So no, I would say then Drive Club is definitely a big one.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Mine is Infamous.
Second Son?
Really?
Yeah.
Ooh, man.
Yeah, I can.
I like the game a lot, but if we're talking about biggest disappointments, I just had such high hopes for Cole to come back and the story and like.
Right.
It was good. It was like an 8, but I was expecting. I don't know. I was really hyped up on it. I was expecting it to be like like a real like killer, dude, like a 9.5 or something.
And that's kind of we literally just said maybe 35-40 minutes ago about how great Infamous 2 was.
Yeah,
like,
Infamous 2 murdered it, aka 9.5.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I guess 10's a slaughter, so Metal Gear Solid.
That's really what I was expecting, though, and that's what I mean when I say it was the biggest disappointment for me is because I liked it. I just thought it was going to be like a really like a holy shit. This was great.
Can we make our rating system like poked it 1, nudged it 2?
I don't know. No, I'm not going to encourage this joke going on.
Killed it, murdered it, slaughtered it. It's a 10 out of 10.
I'm just ignoring it when it happens at this
Why? It's actually I feel like it's really entertaining, especially because
you want to know why? I'm going to tell you why right now. Because when you say it, I guess it wasn't killing it, and then you wait for the thing.
And then you put on the glasses.
I was just going to do that. I guess it was.
Drew, I'm curious to know your answer for this question.
If it has to do with like all the time of PlayStation that I've known, I know that Layer was a huge one, but I'm kind of with Dean in having an answer that won't apply for most people. But for me, it's very recent. It's because it's right on my memory right now. It's Metal Gear Solid 5. And I know it's a great game. I know it kills it. It's an 8.5, but it's one of the biggest disappointments I've ever had in gaming.
That's
Ever.
Right. It's not. I think like I feel like you're answering the question correctly. You know what I mean? Like it's what was your biggest?
I know I'm going to answer this question, and all of you are going to beat me.
Let me explain real quick though, just for people that want to like hang me right now.
Chastise you? Yeah.
It's a great game. It's just it did not deliver at all on the expectations when it comes to closing off the Metal Gear Solid storyline. This is the last Metal Gear we probably will ever get from Hideo Kojima. It did not provide the closure that we needed, and the pacing was absolutely terrible. And if this Chapter 3 rumor is not true, then this is all we have to go with. This is it, and it just sucks. It's such a disappointment. So that's me. Go ahead, somebody else.
I have a bunch. My first one I'm going to throw out there is Flow from that game company. It ended up being not what I thought it was going to be. So I think it was just kind of like my own expectations for the game were kind of let down by it. Yeah. Yeah, I had the game originally when it launched. I was following them for a while. And then they surprised me and got Flower and Journey. Journey would probably be one for Dean that you could throw out there. You didn't really.
I'm going to hang Dean.
Yeah, I wasn't really as disappointed as everybody else was disappointed that I didn't like it though.
I know. I was more sad that you didn't.
I was sad.
I love Journey to death, but some other ones to throw out there for you. Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories. I waited to get it on Game Boy and I got it on PlayStation 2. And that was such a big letdown. It was totally different from anything else Kingdom Hearts, and I was very confused and shocked that they even released that as a game. Another one I want to throw out there is not that I don't. I love it.
Is this the one you think we're gonna beat?
Yes.
I want to hear it.
I love it. I love it. I just don't love it as much as the other ones in the series, and that's Uncharted 3: Drake's Deception. I love the game. I absolutely adore it.
Don't poke the bear.
But I'm not poking the bear.
It was one of your biggest disappointments.
That's come on. Like
the one because a lot
we
of
just had this conversation an hour ago.
Wait, give me five. Give me 5.
Let him have the floor. Go ahead, Greg.
Give me 5 seconds. When they released the trailers for the game, it seemed like the best storyline for the treasure and the adventure that Drake was going after. About halfway through the game, they kind of just throw that out the window, and they give you an awesome story. I love the story of Uncharted 3. But what they do is they kind of took out the elements of it that I was expecting most from it. And that was like the Drake's family was part of the Secret Service in England and dealt with Queen Elizabeth as the spy territories. This isn't spoiling anything, Mike. This is all in trailers, and this is like nothing because they don't even answer any of these questions in the game, so you don't have to worry about it.
But there's a reason they don't answer those questions. It's a part of the story why they don't. I thought that was a good reveal. I don't want to talk about it too much, but I like the direction they went.
Can you stop talking, Greg?
I like the direction they went. I'm just going to say that. I think Uncharted 3 is a really, really smart game. When it comes to the story that is there, I think that the story is poorly paced because of their focus on set pieces, and I do think Uncharted 2 is better in that respect. But the story that is there, if you just break that out and put it in order, like, it's a really cool story.
I haven't played it since its first release, and now I have the Uncharted collection, so I'm very excited to go back and see how it holds up, especially right after playing 1 and 2. But I just know for me that was not. It was a big disappointment just because what I was looking forward to in the game, they just kind of threw aside. I get why they did it. I get they needed to do it for the story. I understand that. I love Uncharted 3. I'm not saying I hate Uncharted 3, Drake's Deception. I have a statue of Drake from that game sitting on my shelf. It just, for me personally, that was one of the things I was like, what? And to get into it after Mike plays through them all, so I'm not spoiling it for him or anybody else. We'll dive into more of why I have gripes with that in the future.
I just want to say real quick, Legion DR stopped in just to say, hey all, fuck Konami. And that's it. That's all he did. He stopped in and said, hey all, fuck Konami, and then probably left.
And then my last one was God of War Ascension.
And Hawkeye really wants me to answer this question. What's your opinion on a remake of Beyond Two Souls? We can all touch on this real quick. I think they should do it just because I've never played it, and I would love to play it.
You never played that, Drew?
No, but that's the thing. My expectations aren't high because I have heard that it wasn't very good.
Oh my god!
But I will play it.
I adore that game.
That's the only reason why I skipped it, because I heard it wasn't at all what you wanted to get after playing Heavy Rain.
See, like, I disagree with that. Everyone had that same gripe with The Order, and I love The Order. I love my playthrough with it. I love everything about The Order.
I agree with everybody's review of The Order, so therefore...
I wouldn't say I love The Order. I wouldn't go that far, but I thought it was a good game. I enjoyed it. I had no problem finishing it for the 8 or 10 hours that it lasted.
Chime in on that one.
Right.
I hated it, dude. I was so mad about it.
You also hated Journey and can't get into Kingdom Hearts.
No, see, you twist words. You don't listen when other people speak.
Dean likes Kingdom Hearts.
Because I didn't say I hated Journey. I said Journey was alright. I didn't have the same experience as everyone else. I wasn't like, I hate Journey. You know.
Did you ever go back to
topic 4, not
Left
topic
Behind? BT Dubs?
Not yet.
You have to go back and do that.
Mike, you're up with the last topic. That should say topic 4.
What's my topic?
I got it for you if you need it.
Oh, it's mobile gaming. So, PS Vita was definitely a phenomenal system. PSP was also a great system. Yet each iteration, Nintendo absolutely destroyed them and demolished them. So where do you think that Sony went wrong? If Sony were to do it again, what do you think that they could learn from Nintendo to do it the right way?
3D.
Yeah, right. Here's the thing: is Sony it was always playing catch up, and for PSP, PlayStation Portable, they did a phenomenal job. I mean, to sell 80+ million units with their first portable against the DS, that was huge, because the DS is one of the best selling handhelds of all time, if not the best selling. That's freaking thing. I don't even know how many units I sold, but it's up there with PS2 or even above PS2. So for PSP to sell 80+ million units, that is a massive success. It's just the Vita.
Against a company that can't sell their console the right way.
What was that?
You're also up against a company that can't sell their main console the right way.
Well, that has nothing to do with it. We're talking handhelds.
Well, again, okay, but that's my question is, what do you think that they're doing right with handhelds that Sony is doing right with consoles, and what do you think they can learn from that?
In a way, I think it's name brand almost alone. Game Boy and forward, just people, when they think of handhelds, they think of Nintendo, because Nintendo is the only one that's ever done handhelds right. And I just mean right in having good games. That's as simple as they needed for the longest time. They didn't need crazy innovation. It just needed good games, and they had that. So for the longest time, they just built up this legacy that when PlayStation finally jumped in to try and tackle that, they had a huge battle ahead of them. And the Vita, if we remember right, when it was first revealed at $249, everybody flipped shit, because the rumors were $400, and everybody, when they saw $249, they're like, I'm getting this fucking thing. And then we heard about memory cards, and then DS dropped to $180 and announced that they were releasing Mario Kart for free or some shit like that, and PS Vita was dead. That's all it took.
Yeah.
Well, the thing that gets with my Vita is a lot of the time, I love my Vita. I use my Vita. I hate to say every day, because I don't. I'd be lying if I said that. But I do use it like once a week. When I do see like that the dust starts picking up on it, it's right next to my bed. It's right next to my iPhone charger and stuff. And when I do see like the dust go over it, like,
it's got Wii U syndrome, huh?
Yeah, I'll go literally. I'll go to like touch the screen just to like check it on it, like what is going on.
Check in on it. Are you still alive, little buddy?
What are you doing, Vita? But when I use it most is like most recently I used it a lot for Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag and Assassin's Creed Unity with the second screen option, just to go like hunt down chests while I was like watching television or something. And that's what I think the Vita kind of falls into for me, is the second screen that I didn't know I wanted, but now that I have it, I'm kind of like, oh, this is kind of awesome. You know what I mean? And because like Drew said, there's no games to play on it that are exclusive,
but there could have been.
And that,
right.
The problem is studios are so freaking fast to jump ship anymore. Like all it takes is like 1 month. It's like one NPD result, and it's 4, and they're like, guys, abandon ship, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, but that kind of leads me into my issue that I have with it, right? Because Nintendo has all these great, first party. I mean, they have Mario, they have Zelda, they have Metro, they have all these different first party type games that they could just go head first in. But Sony has the same, they just don't bother doing it. Sony, let's look at Uncharted. Now, don't get me wrong, they did a great job, but why not have a smaller part of Naughty Dog do it? Don't tell me you don't have the money. They're your team now at this point. You have the fucking money.
I don't think it's the development.
I 100%.
I just think, no, I don't think it's the development. I just think, like, at the end of the day, Sony looks at Naughty Dog and they're like, do we assign you to a Vita handheld that might sell a couple 100,000 units? Or do we assign you to PS4 that's going to be bundled with an Uncharted bundle, probably have Drake on the front of PS4 and sell like millions?
I don't know. Maybe I'm just the unique one on that. I'm not saying to give the entire. Let's say that I don't know how many people Naughty Dog has working for them, but let's say it's like 150 people. They have 150 people working on them. You're telling me that a 10, 15-man team working on a property that they know and love and cherish is worse than getting an outside company with 20 or 25 people that have never touched their engine. I feel
but Mike,
like
let's put it this way though. Like, let's say when it came to Infamous. Let's say Infamous was being made on the PS Vita and it was Sucker Punch, and you were getting a Vita Infamous instead of Infamous Second Son.
Why? But that's
like that, I would be pissed. Like, I don't want that.
Here's the thing: you get just a DS Mario and just a Wii. No, you get both. Like, you guys are looking at it as a singular thing. It's like, oh, Naughty Dog can only work on PS4 or PSP. No, split the team up a little bit. Just take a small portion.
Or give it to Bend, who did a wonderful job with Golden Abyss.
Or Sanzaru.
You have one or two very good companies that are good at doing this. Don't get me wrong, but look at how many failed titles were supposed to be great. These huge, big things that Sony really took they're like, hey, listen, either it was use our IPs, or hey, listen, we'll supply you with another outsourced company, to make your IP like Call of Duty. Nintendo says, hey, we have a great studio that does very well with Mario. We'll have them work on the portable Mario or whatever. And that's what I'm trying to get at is you have these studios that have enough people to work. Even if it takes a little bit longer, I wouldn't have given two shits if Uncharted didn't come for another year, just so that Naughty Dog could have an actual, part of their team working on a portable game. And that's what I'm saying. I feel like these...
I would have given them shits.
The only thing that gets me about it, Mike, is like with this argument, it's like you can't blame Sony for it a bunch of the time because like look at what happened with the BioShock game, like that was supposed to be made by Irrational. Look at what happened with the Assassin's Creed game, like that was made by people that worked on the console ones from Ubisoft Montreal, and still nobody bought it. It's just not the resources that people want to put towards.
And that's where it kind of goes into it. You do have these companies that go all in, and I feel bad for them. But the companies, like I said, look at Call of Duty. Call of Duty was not an in-house game; it was an outsourced game. Resistance had all the potential. It just it was on the heels, and people have been wanting a Resistance game. Failed. I mean, the only three that I can remember that did really well that weren't in-house studios were Assassin's Creed, Killzone, and Uncharted.
Assassin's Creed was Ubisoft,
but it wasn't. But Assassin's Creed was. I mean, Ubisoft is a giant. That's like saying, saying that person that worked on Uncharted was PlayStation. That doesn't mean anything. Like
no, but it was people from Ubisoft Montreal that worked on like a bunch of the series.
But again, do you think that it was their core team of 120 odd people that were working on the game just for the portable, or do you think they branched off and they were like, well, we can spare 15 people for?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying to your point. Like to get 15, 20 people from Naughty Dog and to break them off, like that's how the game is going to end up turning out. If you want to do that, then you have to get the core people to do it. But my argument against you is to get those core people doing a Vita game is never going to happen, and I don't think anybody would want that to happen. That's my argument.
No, but and then that's the other thing too is that you have so here's the second part to that is that's fine. So Nintendo has these games, they have Mario, they have Metroid and Zelda and all these games that people are going to buy no matter what. But Sony has been getting very good at supporting indie titles, arcade games or even smaller indie titles. Why the hell would you not have? It's not like all of a sudden PS4 was their time to shine, and that's when they did it. No, like early of PS3 was really when the indies and the arcade games really came to fruition with Sony. There's no reason why that couldn't have been the biggest focus on there, and they didn't. Even when they knew they weren't getting a lot of first party titles, it wasn't like, oh, well, we'll just focus on the arcade ones. It was like, well, we're just going to ignore it. Let it go away.
Well, because Sony had a lot of catching up to do with PS3. Like, they were getting Braid, Limbo, and big downloadable indie games, I think, so much later than everybody else. So I think a little bit when they were coming out with PlayStation 4, I think that's why they're on top now, is because then, like you're saying, this was their time to shine with PS4. And I think they knew that better than anybody else. I think when they came out and announced the PS4, they were kind of like, listen, guys, like, we fucked up last generation. Like, we're sorry. Like, we didn't mean to do this, but, like, now we're going to give you the indies. We're going to give you PlayStation Plus that's better than ever. We're going to give you our AAAs, and guess what? They're going to keep coming out, and all these exclusives that you love.
Branching off of that, then, with the Vita, I think we can all agree then this was their fuck-up. The Vita was a major screw-up, so do they come back strong now, or like the most recent Shuhei interview, which implied that they're kind of not even thinking about it, do we think they stop? Are they done with handhelds?
I still think, and I agree with what you guys have said before multiple times, is that and Greg said it himself, the Vita is strongest when it's second screen. That's a big.
Mike's agreeing with me, everybody. It happened finally.
Listen, I'm all for the Vita. I want the Vita to do well. The problem is I can't see myself finding the reason to buy it and invest in one when there's not anything being developed for it. So
100%. Yeah.
As stubborn as I was sounding, as far as wanting these first-party studios to do more with the system, it's only because I want the Vita to continue to do well and thrive because it's a great system. And I think it was actually put out before its time. I think they should have waited maybe a year or two, but they really just wanted to get into that portable market space. But I feel like the second screen is definitely something that they should really advertise a lot more of.
Can I give a quick shout out to DCP77, who's been complimenting us all night? He just said the show is better than IGN. Best follow. Good night. Thank you for stopping in, DCP77. We really appreciate everything you've said tonight, and we have been seeing it all. So thank you so much. I hope that you stop by again.
Special thank you to the people. I don't know how many we have on PC, but all 80 of you watching from PlayStation.
Wow,
you guys
that's
are
great.
Awesome. That's really
excellent
cool.
result there. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. We have a few more follows. Thank you to GC Derek and Hawk X for following, as well as Blitzreek BH, Terrafear, Day Turk or Derbs, and Big Nate Dog. Thank you so much to those 6 follows so far. Keep them coming. Hit that heart button live from PlayStation, bottom left-hand corner of your screen on PS4. Your name will pop up, and we will give you a quick shout-out. We're still on the idea of Sony maybe quitting when it comes to handhelds. I personally wouldn't have an issue with it. Just because I feel like they have too much of a battle ahead of them to win or to make a dent, and at this point I prefer playing on console, so I would rather them focus all of their efforts on console. And I feel like PS4 might be better as a result now that we don't have anybody focusing on Vita. It's just like we're gonna get all these great games on PS4 instead.
When I think of the Vita, I think of the end of the movie Scarface, where spoilers for Scarface, just in case you haven't seen it. But when he gets shot repeatedly at the end, and he just keeps kind of trudging through until he finally falls in the pool, like that's what I think of when I think of the Vita. Like
that's why I like the Vita, dude.
It's an uphill battle, but it keeps. No, that's what I'm saying. Is like that's how I compare it to. Like,
yeah,
at the end, like it's still gonna fight tooth and nail to be the thing that people want it to be. Like. Even though Sony doesn't advertise it at that, look how long the PSP lasted just because of the fans that dedicated and loved the system that much. It lasted like 10 to 12 years that games were still being made for the PSP after it was released, and it was nowhere near as big.
You think I'm dead? Say hello to my Aqua Blue PS Vita.
I mean, I play a lot of my Vita.
I hate him.
There's so many good indie games on Vita, and I play a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
So
a lot of the games that are made.
I don't know. I've just been kind of taking this all
during the trophy war. You guys went all out on the Vita.
Yeah. I think to say that there's like no games developed on Vita, like that's where a lot of these independent developers are getting their start.
Thriving. Look at Monster Bag was phenomenal. I love that one. There was Sound Shapes, my favorite platform to play it on.
That's the thing is most of them are multi-platform. Most of them are PS4, PS Vita cross-buy, which by the way is awesome. I mean that's so cool that you can buy games on PS4.
Like a wonderful
a lot of them play on Vita
machine.
Yeah.
Sorry, what was that, Dean?
It's like a wonderful little indie machine.
It is. It is really, at this point, it's an indie machine. And a little bit of third party, but that's even becoming few and far between.
But it's a really expensive indie machine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They do need to drop the price. That should be $150 now.
That's why I was kind of annoyed at this past thing. Like they didn't. Here's what's funny is remember how we were kind of. I remember sitting with you guys and we were kind of trying to figure out what point or how much time was going to be dedicated to Vita, if any. And they said absolutely nothing about Vita at E3, which we weren't surprised about at all. They had an amazing E3 show, which again goes to show that if they're focusing all on PS4 and putting all their eggs in the basket, they're going to do well. But at the same time, then they come out. 3 months later, 4 months later, and they're like, hey, by the way, remember that system we said was a legacy system and we're not really working on it? We have a new color and it's the same price.
Yeah, and it's the same price, right? Yeah, that was so weird.
It didn't make sense.
Listen, do me a favor. Keep the black. I don't need the blue. You keep your blue. All right? Keep the money that you're going to spend on the blue. Give me that $150 price point. $160 maybe with a free game. I don't really care.
Yeah.
Thank you to Toxic Dingo and Blaze7X for a couple more follows. Any final comments here on the PlayStation Vita?
I just would like to know why Greg hasn't taken the plastic off of his Rock Band drums.
I can't play the drums.
You played them, you said though.
I played them with the plastic.
With the fucking plastic on it?
Plastic on it? No wonder you can't play the drums.
That's a weird thing to do, man.
The thing that gets me about the drums is...
Can't stop looking at that. This whole show, I can't stop looking at it.
Okay, you're the devil. The thing that gets me about the drums is the ankle. I can't do the pedal. I can't do it.
I can't.
You know
either.
why? Because a lot of people, you put your heel on the ground, right, and then you tap your foot. That's not how you do it. Yeah,
I realized through Rock Band that when it comes to rhythm with my feet, I don't have it.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
It's all about feet height too.
I'm about to show you guys something during Extra Life.
Yeah, I feel like I can't do.
Wait, we got mail time, guys.
But,
mail time. Next question. Dear It Only Does PlayStation, if you could play only one of the announced PlayStation exclusives, upcoming PlayStation exclusives, which one would it be and why? Sincerely, Stubby Spills.
Horizon.
Tough. No, I can't just say it that easy. As much as I love that game, like Uncharted's in there, but you haven't played them, so.
Yeah.
Here's the question: does Final Fantasy VII remake count?
The Uncharted on a PlayStation podcast is unacceptable.
You gotta remember how much of Uncharted I've played so far.
I don't give a fuck. You saw the E3 demo, right?
The last part he played was the jetties going up the trucking water.
What? So what? You saw the E3 demo for Uncharted 4, dude. Don't you mad at shit.
Yeah, we've also seen demos of things that didn't pan out. I'm not saying that it's going to happen, and Naughty Dog has their pedigree. But at the same time, I mean, remember Horizon?
Yeah, I remember it.
Show pick? I mean, that was...
This is a really
Horizon looks freaking gorgeous, but if it counts, I would say Final Fantasy VII Remake. We don't know for sure what that is yet. We don't know if it's coming to PC, if it's timed exclusive for PS4. Yeah. But if that is, as we know it right now, a true PS4 exclusive, 100% that, no doubt in my mind.
First on PlayStation 4, I think.
Well, here's the thing about this question, right? If you could only play one, Mike. So you're gonna take a get. First of all, I know you're gonna say to this, but I don't care. I know Uncharted 4 is going to be good. Yeah. It's Uncharted. I know the series. It's Naughty Dog. I know the developer. It's going to be good. But you would take a leap of faith on Horizon by Guerrilla, whose games aren't always that great, and then you might be stuck with a real bomber.
Actually, I don't remember one game from Guerrilla that was bad.
I wouldn't say bad. I agree with that. They haven't had a bad game.
I don't know about
They've had
that.
Decent to good to great games.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about all that.
I wouldn't say bad either. I would say decent for sure. Is like their
Killzone 1 sucked. Killzone 2 not that good. Killzone 3 was okay.
See, I would argue 2. I think 2 is good. To great actually.
Great.
I disagree.
Killzone 2 has a 92 on Metacritic, just to get that out there.
Dean's the devil.
Didn't like it. Killzone 3 was alright. Killzone Shadowfall was disappointing. I'm just saying, if you're gonna pick Guerrilla against Naughty Dog as your one PlayStation exclusive, how are you gonna not go with Naughty Dog?
Here's why, and this is, if I can only pick one, I have a strong feeling that Horizon is going to be minimum a 25-hour game. With all like the side stuff that they're talking about, right? I've played Uncharted, so what I've experienced out of Uncharted and what I know out of its playtime, I'm going to maybe get 8, maybe 10 hours out of any Uncharted.
Well, this Uncharted also is not like the first. It has the multiplayer and the co-op stuff also coming with story DLC.
And that's true of the early ones, but I'd say 2 gets a little longer, like 10 to 12, and then 3 is even longer than that, like 12 to 14, and it sounds like 4 is going to be even longer than that. They're kind of getting more towards The Last of Us length now, which is 18, 20 hours.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Last of Us was really long, right?
Yeah, Last of Us is about 18 to 20, and they said Uncharted 4 is about the same.
But that's the thing, like, yeah, Horizon was my game of show. I'm super excited for it, but I'm just saying, in this hypothetical situation, I'm gonna bank on a winning horse rather than a newcomer.
I think for me, this is tough. This is really, really tough.
Uncharted is probably the safest bet of any that we could name right now.
Like,
but I've been waiting how long for the Final Fantasy VII remake? I need to play
things safe.
Well, that's why you lose all the time.
Have fun.
Uncharted, I need it. And if I was only allowed to play one game, like I could wait on everything else. Uncharted to me is just a series that I can't not play and get it at midnight the day it comes out. Like I played through all 3 of these games already, and as soon as I could get that collection, you bet your ass I was at GameStop and I was like,
that's the other thing. You'll never know. You probably don't care yet, but at the end of Uncharted 3, like, you're gonna have these loose ends. Like, I guess I'll just never know what happened.
I said specifically, going off of what I've experienced right now, you can't blame me for what I've experienced so far.
It's like, and I just blamed you.
Yeah, I feel like it's way too early, Mike. Just wait a little bit longer. Wait until
again,
we already told you that Drake's Fortune was the weakest. Wait until you get to 2 and 3.
Is as of right this second, I only know so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a fair point.
You guys are being completely unreasonable right now. If you guys,
I don't think so. I think you are being unreasonable for manning that amazing Uncharted 483 demo. You went, meh.
Yeah, I wasn't there for that, but I punched myself in the face when I heard.
What?
I wasn't there for your reaction to the Uncharted 4 demo, but I heard about it and I wanted to kill myself.
I didn't say it was bad in any way.
You didn't say it was bad. No, he said this was Mike's quote during the Uncharted 4 demo. Everybody,
my fucking shit-eating grin.
And Mike said to me and Dean when Uncharted 4 was premiered and Drake walked out to the thing. First of all, they had a tech glitch, so Mike was already like shitting on it from that. Then they came back and they redid the trailer, and the landscape they show when Drake walks out to that ledge for the first time, and he goes, "I don't really see the difference between this graphical quality and Rise of the Tomb Raider." And I said,
like I said,
what?
The grin on my face should have explained all of that to you.
I think you mean egg on your face is what you mean.
I think it's a little bit of a cop out. I think when you first said it, I think you were really believing that shit.
And then we convinced you.
And then we showed you the side-by-side comparison. We're like, really? Really? No, I don't think so.
Rise of the Tomb Raider, not to take anything away from that series, and those games are beautiful too, but nobody comes even close when it comes to graphical fidelity as good as Naughty Dog.
How many people do we have in the room, guys?
On PlayStation, we have 65.
Okay, I think we'll skip subscriber-only chat. I don't think we have enough people in the room, I don't think, for that.
Okay.
Do you guys agree?
Yeah, that's fine.
I mean, I hate to do that, but the chat room's already moving really, really slow, so I don't want it to go to a crawl. Because let's go straight to the chat now. We've gone through all the topics. We've gone through the fan-submitted questions. Let's spend the next 15 minutes entirely dedicated on the chat. One thing I did see earlier was JRPGs that's what the Vita is for. And I wouldn't disagree with that. I think JRPGs play really, really well on the Vita, specifically Persona. I wish there were more of them. I wish more JRPGs would come out on the Vita. For instance, Project Setsuna. That one that was announced recently. Yeah. I think that's for Vita.
That game looks
that's
really,
the kind
really
of stuff
good.
I want to see.
That game looks really, really good.
Yeah.
And there's also like that. What was that? The Final Fantasy one. The
World of Final Fantasy. Exactly.
That looks phenomenal. Like I'm stoked for that game.
Can't wait.
And there was one more too. It was like in the vein. Oh no, that's Kingdom Hearts mobile game, right? The Unchained, Rechained. We're all getting chained together. I don't know what the hell the titles are.
Chain it up, part 4.
Chain it up, part.
Rick is calling Mike out here too. He says Mike's going to say Uncharted 2 and 3 weren't that great when he beat them just to say he was right.
I had that thought.
I'm
just saying. I had a thought.
Seriously, man, you guys are really sticking. I'm trying to be as fair as possible with everything.
I'm just saying.
I didn't say that. Rick did.
My mind.
I'm just coming.
I was like, I wonder if he's gonna feel that way.
Honestly, there's no way Mike can deny that Uncharted 2 is great.
I want to like Uncharted. I have no problem with it. I missed out on it at first because I didn't play the first one. And I'm always about story. I don't want to jump into a story part way. Mm-hmm. So I want to like them. I don't know much of the game other than the terrible aiming mechanics and driving a jet ski up a waterfall as of right this second.
Yeah.
So I don't want to base everything I say on that.
And you are a lucky camper too, because the aiming mechanics improve so drastically.
I've heard that. You know what's funny is I was like, man, this sucks. And then I looked online and someone else was like, I can't believe how much better it works than the actual game. I was like, man.
Mike,
see, that's what concerns me though, actually, is because I read that they made it so all the gunplay through all 3 was the same for the remaster.
The problem, I think the problem is the aiming reticles. They're so off. There's no zoom, and just it's not as right. Right, no, and I've seen, and I mean, me and Drew played the multiplayer a little bit of, what was it, 3 and 2? Or
2
just
and 3, I think, yeah.
2 and 3, I think, yeah. So I have experience in how the guns and everything work in those games, so.
Thank you, Deadman.
I never got one headshot. Like, I remember trying to go for that trophy, and that was hell the first time.
Thank you, Deadman, for the follow. And another question, team, do you all remember the PlayStation Go system?
Oh my god, that was like the slide up one, right?
Yeah, the little mini.
Oh, I loved that thing.
All it could play was digital.
Way too ahead of its time.
Yep, way too ahead of its time.
Yeah, that was the one. It stopped the UMD disc, right? It was just all like the cloud, like it was all
digital. Yep.
Store. That's crazy. I forgot they did that. I loved the design of it though. It reminded me of my friend had the T-Mobile Sidekick growing up, and I always wanted one and never had one. So then when I got the PSP Go, I used to bring it everywhere. I used to think I was the coolest person.
I remember the first time I touched it in Best Buy, it felt so cheap to me.
Yeah, it was very light. It was very, very light.
Yeah, it just felt too
plasticky and
But I mean, I understand why it didn't succeed, but at the same time, I think if they were to release that now, you know what? If it released for like $100, like it probably would, because it's this tiny, flimsy, cheap thing and played all digital, it might do okay actually.
Yeah,
dude, I'll tell you right now, if they do something like that for PS Vita, if they keep the standard system the way it is, and then have something like that as a secondary piece, I'll get it. $150? No, $120 would probably be the best price for that. $119.99 for like just a online only type system.
A good question from Lincoln. He said, "What happened to Deep Down?"
Oh my God, we heard so much about that game and then nothing.
Nothing happened, right?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
It's like Assassin's Creed meets Dark Souls.
Yeah. Like the premise of it sounded phenomenal, and then we never heard it. We never heard it.
And that first graphical tech demo that showed off the Panarray engine back on the February PS4 reveal, that was one of the best looking things they showed. Granted, I think it was a little bit of smoke and mirrors and not quite what we should expect when the game finally releases. But yeah, I mean that was a really cool looking game. The fire effects especially. So I hope that they go back to that.
How about that for the biggest letdown of the system? Bringing Watch Dogs.
Watch Dogs was that was a big
Watch Dogs was a big letdown.
Getting a lot of whatever happened to questions. Next one is Agent. What happened to Agent?
No one knows now.
We never saw anything from that. So
we
that
saw
one's
a logo.
Not really like a letdown from me. I
just like the idea about it, like the whole premise of it. But from what I understand, that's kind of a little bit almost what we're getting out of Hitman. The Hitman Online stuff is almost agent-ish.
The new Hitman game looks pretty good, actually. I'm not going to lie about that. The one game that I offer everybody to play, and when it finally does come out, it's coming out later this year. Speaking about like a late holiday season, Life is Strange is coming out on disc and retail form, and it's my game of the year this year. It is such a phenomenal, amazing story.
Great. When does it come out?
On retail, it's coming out, I think, the end of November or early December.
Finally! Yeah, there's my holiday game.
Yeah, which is awesome. And next week on Day, I'll be playing the final episode of it on Monday stream, just to plug that.
I won't be watching.
Oh my God, I need to watch that because it's funny. I had like some interest in the game, and I watched the first one. I was like, all right, this is kind of cool. And then I missed, I think, the second and third one. And I watched.
And you saw the end of the fourth. You were in
right. Well, I was in for a good amount of it, actually, probably about an hour. And I was like, all right, this just got fucked up really quick.
Everything that Don't Not Entertainment did with that game, like I didn't think, especially coming off of Remember Me, which was mediocre at best, I thought. It was a cool concept, like whatever. They never really executed fully on it, but Life is Strange was just an anomaly for me. And discovering it, I can only praise that game, and props to Don't Nod, props to Square Enix for doing properties like Hitman, properties like Just Cause, and then coming out with something like this that's kind of like their UB art, so to speak. Yeah. It's phenomenal. So when I'll find the release date and I'll tweet it out on our account when I find when the disc is going to come out. But
a few comments first. Thank you to JGodoy80 for the follow. Really appreciate that. A lot of Extra Life stuff being posted in the chat room. Don't forget about that, guys. We're raising money for Children's Miracle Network hospitals. And a question from Brad. What should he get? Should he get Mad Max or Metal Gear Solid 5?
I mean, I don't even know why it's a question. 100% Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah, this is coming. I said it was disappointing, but I agree. Metal Gear Solid 5.
Right. I mean, when you're taking a game that was reviewed standards 8.5s, and a game that was reviewed 9s to 10s, I mean, I feel like that's not even a.
Dean, were you going to say something?
He asked me earlier today. I said Mad Max personally.
I was just gonna say Mad Max too. That's just my personal.
Why do you guys say that though?
I've watched my brother play Metal Gear Solid 5. I watched you play Metal Gear Solid 5. It's just not my cup of tea. And I played Mad Max at my friend's house, and it was really surprisingly fun.
It's not that it's not interesting to me. I watched a bunch of streams for it because I wanted to see why it was doing so well. But I at the same time, I mean, if you're going to compare it against Metal Gear Solid 5, that's not even a comparison to me.
For the amount
I don't know. It's being compared pretty frequently to it.
I mean, Metal Gear Solid 5, for all of its faults, it has some of the best gameplay I've ever seen.
I mean, they're comparing it because I think it's open world and there's desert themes. I feel like that's the only two things that are similar to it. The upgrade system in Mad Max is more like how it was in Shadow. And you know what? Mad Max is more like a cross between It's more like a Shadow of Mordor or whatever that game was.
Yeah, that's what it reminds me of. When I played it, that's exactly what it reminded me of.
It's like a shooter version of that.
That's so funny that you
That's way more accurate than anything else. And still, I mean, I'll still stand by 100%.
I agree with Mike 100% that you can't compare the two games at all. But Brad, that's really just a question of personal preference.
GFN said, I also said Mad Max. Brad has only played MGS4 and has no knowledge on the story of Big Boss. Here's the thing. You don't need any knowledge because MGS5 doesn't like at all delve into that like it should have.
I have almost no idea. Me and Dean were hoping to get Drew to explain what happened to them in the other Metal Gears that came before, just so I had any idea what's going on. But I'm still perfectly fine with it.
You're not going to appreciate the ending, Mike. I will say that. You're not going to appreciate the ending like I did. The ending does do a really cool thing when you take it into everything into account. But
ever. It's
you're talking about the true ending, like after you
beat the final true ending of the game, the ending of Chapter 2. Granted, you know, we might not get Chapter 3, we might get Chapter 3. Who knows right now? But the true ending, the way that it does try to wrap things up and bridge to Metal Gear 1 even, is pretty cool. I think that they went like 50% of the way, and if they could have went 100% of the way, it would have been like a mind-blowing ending and could have done one of the coolest things I've ever seen. But it just goes partially, you know, towards that.
Not to sidetrack, something I forgot because I wasn't there on Sunday, and it's going to kind of cater to Sony a little bit. Guess what game's coming out in December that's fun and looks a lot better on PS4 than it will on Xbox One?
What is that?
Just Cause 3.
Idea.
Oh, did you saw them side by side?
Yeah, dude, I'll tell you right now, I mean, it's maybe 900p on Xbox One.
That's so weird.
And it's full 1080, 60 frames on PS4.
Huh.
It's looking so good. The explosions and the water mechanics are absolutely
The explosions
awesome.
in Just Cause are sick. Like, even in Just Cause 2, the explosions were some of my favorite parts of that game. You could just create chaos anywhere you go, and Just Cause 3 is going to be 10 times bigger than Just Cause 2 was, which is insane to think that. Because Just Cause 2 could literally zipline to anything, jump out of a plane with a parachute, and then, like, crash it and just watch the chaos happen.
Yeah, you can do that in this, only you get a wingsuit, too.
That's, yeah, the squirrel suits, right? I love those things.
But what's cool, you know what's funny is within the first 5 minutes, I found like, so you know when you're playing a game that's like, you know, that has like a lot of water and you see like things in the background, you know, like you see like ships floating and everything like that in the background, and usually you can't even swim out to them. I'm going to bet you anything I could have swam out to it, but instead I decided to get a rocket launcher and shoot it.
Would you say better or worse than AC4 Black Flag water?
Better. I haven't seen any mechanics of water like this. Like, this is the type of water mechanic. You know what's funny is I always held that up to Far Cry. Far Cry always seemed to, no matter what, I mean, it was beautiful, it was bright, but the one thing it really did the best on was the water mechanics for every single game it came out with, and this game blows it away. This is, I think, graphically, it's everything I wanted out of GTA before the PC update.
Wow. That's a bold statement.
It's a little more cartoony, but it's pretty damn awesome.
I think that's why I appreciate those more than like Grand Theft Autos, though. Speaking of big disappointments, GTA 4, throw that out there. God rest our souls.
First to McLovin, I'm sorry if you considered that spoilers of Metal Gear Solid 5. I will say I don't think that I spoiled anything. I was just saying that it provided closure and it tries to bridge the gap for the series, but that's not really saying much. I trust me, you're probably okay if you were being serious there. Another question: has anybody here played Nightmare Creatures?
I don't even know what that is.
Me either.
Does anybody know what that is?
No, I don't know what that is.
Nope. Apparently that's not the game that was just announced for PS4, right?
No, this is a PS1 game.
It was PS1, and I mean, I only had a PS1. I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, same here. Sorry to, I think that was Hawk. We do not know that game.
Are we so excited, just to end the show on this, everybody? We all played PT, correct?
Correct.
No.
Oh, okay. Really? That's surprising. Oh, you don't like scary stuff, though. Yeah, you don't like scary stuff. Allison Road canceled its Kickstarter and got picked up by a publisher, everybody. That's like the spiritual successor to PT. So
yeah, that looks really cool. And another horror game kickstarted Friday the 13th.
Yes, so excited for that one.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know.
Did you guys watch the everybody do yourselves a favor and go, I tweeted out the link to it when they announced they released the trailer, but then they had IGN did a commentary with the developers of the series to try to see what they were trying to achieve, and it sounds incredible.
Someone it's multiplayer, right?
Yeah, somebody controls Jason, and then 7 other people control different teenagers with different attributes. So somebody's the cheerleader, and like maybe the cheerleader's good at like really hiding in a cabinet, but maybe she can't drive and she'll fumble the keys. Then there's like a jock who's like really good at like maybe he could go toe to toe with Jason, but like you don't want him to run away because he's gonna stumble a bunch because he's big. And like the whole premise that they're going for is like there's gonna be multiple Jasons from each movie of Friday the 13th. So like they'll have Friday the 13th, like the 10th one with like the space and stuff, like, and his specialty will be like a laser gun or something weird, and then another one will be like a machete as a special weapon. It sounds really, really cool. I tweeted out the link, so go check out our Twitter, guys, and follow us there.
Well, I can literally see Dean's eyes closing like as we're streaming right now. So I think it's time that we wrap up the show. It is after 11 o'clock. That was a good way to end it, actually. We had a couple follows tonight. Thank you to Dragon Slayer, J Godoy 80, Deadman, Toxic Dingo, Blaze 7X, GC Derek, Hawk X, Blitzkrieg BH, Terror 231, Dayturga Gerbs, and Big Nate Dog. Thank you for those, I think, 10 followers. Not bad. Thank you so much, everybody. We got up to 80-something people in the room, which is really cool. Anybody who's in the room right now on PlayStation, please hit that heart button. It's in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen down in the menu. Tap that. Your name will pop up real quick, and we will, of course, shout you out. There's our hearts, kind of.
I know. I always want to do it with you when I hear your voice, but I can't because like we're on different corners. It makes me sad.
Yeah, it's mirrored.
Wait. I'm trying to get it. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Nah, it's not.
We failed. But we did get another follow from Shadow Reject, so we kind of succeeded, actually.
Thank you.
Also, don't forget all of our channels, guys. We have Twitter at the Level Up Network, level spelled LVL. Tweet at us with hashtag on the spot if you want to be a question on Sunday show or on our 24-hour Extra Life Marathon. And tweet at us with hashtag IODP if it's a PlayStation-centric question that you would like to be on next month's episode of It Only Does PlayStation. And just follow us in general, of course, because we do keep active on there and keep you informed. We've got YouTube at youtube.com/the Level Up Network, Level Up Show. Level Up Show, level spelled LVL. That's where you can find archives of everything, as well as Dean and Greg's exclusive YouTube show. It's called Power Up. It is all about superhero comic book nerdiness on every Saturday morning, typically. And if you are a Patreon member at patreon.com/Level Up Network, you can get early access to Power Up by donating just $1 per month or more, of course, if you really want to support the network. You've got the levelupshow.spreadshirt.com if you want to buy hoodies like this one, as well as a bunch of stuff, actually. We're putting tons of stuff on Spreadshirt right now.
Boogie Squad.
What was that?
Bogey Squad.
Bogey Squad, right. Varsity jersey right now, if you guys want to check that out. It says Bogey Squad, killing it since 8.5, and you can even put your name on the back like a typical jersey. It's really cool. And a bunch of other stuff, too. And then finally, most important of them all, please, we only have 3 weeks left until Extra Life, which is a gaming dedicated marathon raising money for Children's Miracle Network hospitals throughout the United States. We're playing for Children's Miracle Hospital of Philadelphia, and we've already raised $1,390, I'm pretty sure. It's unbelievable. Thank you so much to everybody who has donated, but we need you to keep going because we're going to try and hit $5,000 by the end of this year. Go to extralife.org/participant/the Level Up Network. It's been scrolling at the top of the screen. If you need it, just go there, hit the support me button, donate whatever you have the means to, because it's for a great cause and every cent counts. All right. It's okay if Drew messed up. He makes this show. Thank you, Puss. I appreciate it.
And take a drink, you son of a bastard. Dude.
Me? I know. I'm fucking sorry. You thought I was fucking around? I told you we have to end at 11.
That was just... I literally saw you go like this.
Yeah.
Well, Dean has been streaming for 4 hours straight now. So
yeah.
And I woke up at 4 in the morning today.
And speaking of that, let's just say right now, Dean is not going to be doing Beast of the Week next week.
No, I won't. I told the people who were watching earlier, whoever's still here. I don't know.
Okay. And we're going to end off the way we normally do now on It Only Does PlayStation with our Spirit Fingers. Woo! Are you guys ready?
I'm gonna give you
no, you guys got to wait for it. We got to do it at the same time,
Greg. I got really excited.
This is it. This is
all right.
Again for
3, 2, 1. Spirit Finger. PlayStation, I mean. I got it wrong. I make the show, guys. Don't worry about it. PlayStation is what we meant. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you throughout the week with gaming talk shows and game streams. Until next time, take care. And as always, level up.
Really, Greg?
So extra all the time.